Great job on the national anthem by Casey Fells and Claire Henderson, students at Beaver High School. And we're getting ready for the kickoff of this game. And taking a little deeper dive, Rob, go ahead.
Can I just real quick, after again, a great national anthem by those two Beaver girls. It's Veterans Day. I want to give a shout-out to them. I shared this quote earlier, like this from George W. Bush. Throughout the course of American history, courageous men and women have taken up arms to secure, defend, and maintain these core principles upon which our nation's freedom depend. And so to all the men and women in uniform, past, future, and present, we thank you.
Yes, we do thank you with all of our hearts and souls, and thank you for sharing that. It was great. Taking a look at these two games. Felt's facts. George Felt, one of the USHA historians, basically. Yeah. He provided a lot of insight on this game, on this championship game. Now, I want to start with one interesting note. The last time the Enterprise Wolves won the championship, that coach is on the sideline, just not on the Enterprise sideline. Right. You know, Coach Randy Hunter with the Beavers was the coach of the last championship for the Enterprise Wolves, and Enterprise has won one championship in their history, and that was with Coach Hunter at the helm of that team. So kind of fun. As we take a look at this one, Beaver leads this series 18-6 since 1997 when Enterprise started playing football, and this year, of course, 21-14 was the previous game. Beaver makes its state record 26th appearance in a title contest. Millard has 21, Skyline 20, and the Beavers are in their 5th straight championship game, which is 3rd all-time. And 8 and 9 years. And what I didn't know was that the Beavers have had that 3 other times, 5 straight. So it's quite a tradition for the Beaver High School Beavers.
We got to see the chopper drop the ball.
We did.
The game ball in. What a catch by Caden Elworth. He looked like a punt returner right there, reeling that one in. Braden Evans had a shot at it for Beaver, but Elworth able to get that one.
So the first play goes to the Enterprise Wolves.
That's right.
All right, so we're ready to kick off of today's game. And, Robert, talk to me about, for you, keys to this game. We've alluded to them all through the pregame, but give me your final summary.
Again, the big thing for me today is going to be how does Beaver handle the line play of Enterprise. You just heard Coach Messersmith talk about the fact that he felt like Beaver won in the trenches the first time around. And so, the Enterprise, their line's going to take that as a slight towards them. They're going to try to counter that. And then turnovers. Last week, Beaver multiple fumbles that caused some problems for them. And then, of course, Enterprise turned it over the last time these two teams met. So, to me, it's classic old football. Turnovers and win in the trenches.
Well, you've got the double wing of the Enterprise Wolves and the wing T of the Beavers. Similar offenses, both want to control the line of scrimmage, get 4 to 5 yards per carry. And the team that's able to do that will take this one. We're ready for the kickoff of this game today, and it'll be Rivera. And he has a squib kick taken at the 40 and down. And so recovery by Bradshaw of the Beavers.
Yeah, good catch there. That was a rocket right at him. Bounced off his chest and able to reel that in. So good field position for Beaver to start this game.
So here we go. It all comes down to this, a season of football. This went as fast as any season I have ever been involved with, and they seem to be picking up speed. But here we are in the championship game. 2 awesome teams between the Beavers and the Wolves. Junior quarterback Bodie Wheatley under center for the Beavers. With him in the backfield will be Hollingshead. And the first play goes to Hollingshead around the right side. Picks and chooses. Hit right at the line of scrimmage. Not much there. Great job by the defensive line of the Wolves.
Yeah, what rush by that defensive line. I don't know how else to say it because they flew to the football. Not just the defensive line, the backers there as well. They took on the initial blocks, which allowed that play to be stopped pretty quick.
Yep, gain of 2 on the play. 2nd down and 8. Ball on the Beaver 42-yard line. Now the Beavers will run inside, outside with Gale, outside with Hollingshead, and Wheatley will pass. The Beavers do have a passing component to the offense that is pretty effective. Heavy side on the left now for the Beavers. Here's Wheatley with the long snap count. Quick pitch out. That one's to Hollingshead. Hollingshead takes one block. Big lane around the left side. The 50 down across the 40. And a big hitter and a Mike Scoottown first down for the Beaver High School Beavers.
Deegan Blackner with the big block, allowing him to cut inside and get the big first down into Enterprise territory.
Yeah, it's all about the blocking and getting in the way. With the speed of Tab and Hollingshead, sometimes the block only has to be a distraction to give him that space because Hollingshead a master at picking his spots. First down and 10, ball on the Enterprise 39. Back to pass, here's Wheatley. Wheatley's pass over to Blackburn. Blackburn on the right side, across the 45-yard line, the 35-yard line to the 33.
There you go. There's that effective pass play that you talked about just a few minutes ago. And being able to get Wheatley an opportunity to complete a pass early after getting a couple of first downs already, I think is going to be key to help this Beaver offense continue to move the football.
Yeah, Blackburn, the receiver. Now, just one thing we didn't get to in the pregame, Blackburn leading the state in interceptions this year with 9. So he leads all classifications.
And he was big last week.
With 3 interceptions. He was definitely the player of the game last week with the touchdown reception and the 3 interceptions. So the Beavers back at it, second down and a long 4. There's a handoff. Nope. Wheatley keeps it around the right side, takes himself first down yardage and more as he's near the red zone.
Beautiful decision by the Beaver quarterback. You've got the 3 options there, the handoff, keep it yourself, or pitch it, and he made the exact right decision on that one to get down to the 21.
Yeah, he made a really nice play fake to take Gale up the middle, and you can see the Enterprise linebackers bit on that play fake, and that led Wheatley with the wise decision around the end. So the Beavers at the 21-yard line. Again, this drive started at the 40. So the Beavers now with almost 40 yards on this drive. First drive of the game, no score yet from Southern Utah University. Here's Wheatley now in the shotgun. Wheatley will hand off to Hollingshead, right side, following blockers, hit hard, spins out, runs into nothing. No gain on that play. Great job.
Jaden Drake cleaned up the play with a big tackle at the end. Credit to Hollingshead. He was trying to spin out of everything he could, but just too many Wolves.
Yeah, Tavin Hollingshead does a really good job of playing the power game as well, but just too many Wolves, as you mentioned. Hit immediately by 2 players and then cleaned up as you called it. Second down and 1. In what I would guess would be, second down and 11 for the Beavers. They approach the red zone at the 20, ball at the 22. Split out to the left will be Blackburn and Radin. Wheatley under center. 9:28 left in the first. Here's an option on the left side, pitch out to Gale. Gale on the left side has a big hole. Across the 20-15, down inside the 15-yard line. It'll be 3rd and short, and a nice outside block again for Beaver.
Yeah, Blackburn this time providing the block for the Beavers, and that kick-out block allows Gale to cut up inside and get the 9 or 10-yard gain.
So the Beavers with the wing T offense will go left and right, and you can see you've already seen an option play for both Gale and Hollingshead. Makes them dangerous because the Enterprise straight up the middle is going to be a tough call, and they'll have to weaken those sides. That's part of the Beaver game plan. It's 3rd down and short. Ball's down on the ground, picked up by Hollingshead. What a heads-up play, and a fortunate one for the Beavers.
Yeah, a fortuitous bounce as Wheatley was trying to dive on the loose ball, and Hollingshead coming through, recognized it on the ground, and it bounced right into his hands. He made a nice scoop and able to carry that inside the 10 to make it 1st and goal.
1st and goal for the Beavers. Sometimes the fate of football rests on the bounce.
There's that first key play that Coach Marshall talked about.
So there we go. 1st down and goal from the 9 for the Beavers. Handoff. This one's going to go to Hollingshead around the left side, inside the 5-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Yeah, just a good push from that left side that time. That time they just went power football and got a push for a good 3-yard gain.
And, Robert, we talk about the size of the defensive line. You've got Gardner, Holt, and others on the Enterprise side of the field. How do the Beavers, a smaller line, compensate?
Well, you heard Coach Marshall talk about that. One is making sure they've got the pad level where they need it, and then you take advantage of your speed, and that's what the wing offense does. Whatever variation of the wing you want to run, that's the counter. That's to have a quick offensive line.
It's hit those holes quickly and fast so that you can get past the big guys. Here's Wheatley with a 2nd and goal. And a quick patch out. This one's to Blackner. Blackner cuts inside and hits short of the goal line, and he'll get down to the 1. Big 3rd down and goal coming from the 1.
Yeah, that's an interesting play call, and I think that just shows the respect they have for the Enterprise defensive line is trying to hit those sweeps and, in this case, the pitch around the end.
Yeah, Bracken played off a block by Hollingshead, and he did an awesome job of just coming back and playing off the block, stopping Blackner. Really, he was the only one between the goal line and Deegan Blackner.
Big 3rd down play here. I would assume it's going to be 4-down territory for the Beavers regardless, but big play here.
Yeah, I would guess as well. Now, Wheatley comes off the field, which means you're likely to see as you mentioned, the Wildcat with, here's Cutler Matheson under center. And Matheson files on the right side, flag on the play. That might be a delay of game.
Yeah, looking at the play clock. Nope, false start.
No, false start. So a huge mistake for the Beavers. Instead of 3rd and goal from the 1, 3rd and goal from the 6. And again, mistakes could come down to costing either team in this one. That could be a huge mistake with that 3rd and 6.
Yes, it could, because, again, it's not easy to get these when the field shrinks and you don't have the ability to hit anything downfield. It definitely makes it tougher to get some of those bigger plays.
Now, when these teams met in Beaver earlier in the season, the Beavers had 2 opportunities inside the 5-yard line and were unable to score against the Enterprise Wolves, or that score might have been even, a little bit further away. So credit the defense. And now a quick timeout by the Beavers. And, of course, that's a Fish Lake Lumber timeout. We'll take it as well. We'll be back after this for 3rd and Goal on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live, V6 Media, and KSL Sports.
For more than 3 decades, the Intermountain Power Project has served as a model of regional energy cooperation, generating and transmitting coal-fueled electricity to a diverse group of municipal utilities and rural electric cooperatives with operations across 6 U.S. states. Now Intermountain Power is expanding its role as a regional energy hub, including utilizing renewable energy resources. Intermountain Power is proud to support and invest in our central Utah communities. Visit IPAUtah.com to learn more about IPP Renewed.
Live high school sports action on Centracom Channel 10, V6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
Thanks to Tony and Dave sponsoring our timeouts this season. And if you're in an accident or need your car repaired, Tony and Dave's in Beaver is your first-class stop to get your car back and running. Now we have a 3rd and 6, 6:27 left in the first. No score yet. Here's a quick pitch. Nope, fake pitch out. Here's a pass in the back of the end zone. Wide open player, Cutler Matheson for the touchdown.
Yeah, just a beautifully delivered ball right there by Bodie Wheatley. A perfect fake pitch that made it so the Enterprise defense could bite. And then the linebacker for Enterprise recognized the play, but couldn't get back in time. And had he thrown that any shorter, though, it would have been probably tipped by Jaden Drake right there. But because he just got it back to that corner of the end zone, only Matheson could come down with it.
Yeah, Matheson goes up high and snags that one. You're right. Drake recognized it just slightly too late, and a perfect pass from Bodie Wheatley. So the Beavers score first. They get into the Beaver Valley Chevron end zone. Here's Santiago Amesco with the extra point. Robinson with the hold. And the kick is up and looks good, is good. The Beavers 7. The Enterprise Wolves 0. And we come back on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live. All sponsored by V6 Media and KSL Sports.
Special thanks to Channel V6 and these additional sponsors for making state football live coverage possible. Kings Peak Credit Union, Larson Haslam Dental in Roosevelt, Zions Bank, Chuck's Meat, Freedom Realty, Al's Food Town, and Gateway Sinclair in Duchesne.
Live high school sports action on Centracom Channel 10, V6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
Welcome back. Scott Langford, Robert Lovell, and the Beavers take the ball from the 40, and they score on the first possession of the game. It's 7-0 on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard. And, Robert, a really nice drive by the Beavers.
Yeah, they put together a really great drive. I've got that as a 10-play drive going at 60 yards. They had the one penalty in there as well to move them back 5 yards at one point. But creative play calling. I liked the play calling. We saw a little bit of everything on that drive, capped off with a 6-yard touchdown pass from Wheatley to Matheson.
So that drive took 5 minutes and 38 seconds. And it'll be Santiago Amesco who will give Enterprise the first chance as the talented senior kicker lines up and will kick off to the Enterprise Wolves. Kick is up. It's a deep kick. It's going to be near the end zone. Nope, it is in the end zone, so a touchback. And you can't underestimate the value of that kicking game.
Right, absolutely. Caden Elworth, he wanted to bring that out of the end zone, but you're 2 steps deep. Of course, anytime it goes into the end zone in high school football, it's automatically brought out at the 20-yard line. And so now we'll see what Enterprise's offense can do to counter that great drive by Beaver to start the game.
Yeah, now junior quarterback Riker Phillips will lead the Enterprise Wolves, and with him he'll have Kyron Bracken, as well as number 25, Jaden Drake, and Braden Gardner, a super talented group of backs for this Enterprise team. Drake also out on the receiving side. Here's Phillips, first play of the game for the Wolves on the offensive side. Hands off up the middle, and the pile continues to push. They let him play, and he's going to get about 4 yards on first down.
Beaver says they have the football. The far side line judge disagreeing.
He's going to say it's second down. One thing we've noticed the last couple of years is they've let those piles go on longer than before, and there's more fumbles because of the stripping of the ball.
Yeah, that's true. This time, though, Enterprise able to hold on, and you could see the value of that offensive line right there. Yeah. Got such a good push on a play that looked like it was dead at the line of scrimmage.
Yep, second down and 6 coming up. Phillips under center. Double wing. Motion for Bracken. Bracken up in the middle, hit hard at the line of scrimmage. Not a lot there. 3rd and long coming up for the Wolves.
Yeah, just a pickup of one, and Beaver blew that play up early, and they've got good pressure from the defensive line. Braden Evans right there, then the linebackers came up and filled that hole in a hurry.
Yeah, Evans and Hollingshead filled that hole, as you mentioned, and now 3rd down and 5. Manageable 3rd down for the Wolves. 5:22 left in the first. It's 7 for the Beavers. No score for the Wolves yet. First drive of the game for the Wolves. Here's a handoff. This is going to be Drake around the left side. Uses his speed. Has first down yardage and more as he goes across the 35 to the 40. And a flag comes in late.
Yeah, late flag. We'll see what that is. That often means if coming in late like that it's probably going to be a face mask or something in that nature. You generally don't see a hold flag come in that much after the play that far downfield.
Yeah, not usually that late. So it is a personal mask. So that will move the ball outside the 40. That'll move it into Beaver territory at the 45. And so as if the Enterprise Wolves needed any extra help, they're getting a little bit.
15-yard run, add 15 onto it to get into Beaver territory. That was a beautiful run. The pulling guard came through and opened that hole up so nicely. And Jaden Drake, patient enough to let that happen and then follow that lead blocker downfield.
Yeah, Blackburn on the outside had a chance at it, but then the block came. And now the Wolves at the 45-yard line. Here's a handoff up the middle. Gardner spins around, tripped up. He'll gain 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened right there in the middle of that line of scrimmage as he got spun around and then just kind of fell backward, which ended up being forward because he got spun around.
Yeah, it looks like he actually stepped on the back of a lineman foot as they were blocking downfield. So 2nd down and 7. 4:45 left in the first. Of course, again, the Beavers 7. No score yet for the Wolves. Phillips in the shotgun. And Phillips will hand off to Gardner around the right side. Gardner runs into Hollingshead, and a nice gain, 3rd and short. And this is exactly what the double wing is trying to accomplish. These 3rd and shorts, which leaves the playbook more open.
It's a good gain of 4 yards. What a tackle by Tavin Hollingshead. Braden Gardner's bigger than he is, but Hollingshead didn't give up an inch of ground, able to just hit him low with the shoulder and bring him to the ground.
Yeah, Hollingshead, a championship wrestler, so takedown.
That's right.
On the play. So 3rd down and 3. I formation for the double wing. Here's a handoff to Bracken. Bracken hit. Tries to spin forward. He's not going to get it. It'll be 4th down coming up.
Jace Hafen was in there on that big stop. A few others as well for the Beavers as they got the big play. But I think this is certainly 4-down territory for Enterprise.
Yeah, with the offensive line and the talent on that offensive line, I think, Coach Messerschmidt says, I think we can do this at any time, 2 yards.
Second carry of the game today, for Kyron Bracken.
So 4th down and 2. So this could be one of those key plays of the game. I know it's early in the game, but the Beavers with the 7 points. This is a huge down for the Enterprise Wolves to maintain this drive.
Yep, big play here.
Split out to the right is Hyatt. Phillips under center, will hand off. Nope, keeps himself around. Drake around the side. Drake in the backfield makes a player miss and is close. He won't get there. And credit Drake as he had to get to the line of scrimmage, but a great defensive play for Beaver High School.
It looked like Beaver was going to have him drop for a loss of 4 or 5 yards on the play. Made a great cut to split through 2 defenders, but too many Beavers there this time around as that linebacker group and as that Hafen again that was there to help pressure him. They came through and make a big play.
Yeah, and you got Baylor, Blackburn, and Evans coming from the defensive line, so the Beavers take over at the 3:16 mark. A huge defensive play. The first one of those goes to the Beaver High School Beavers. They will start on their own 35-yard line. Quick pitch out on the left side. Here's Hollingshead again. Hollingshead takes the hole across the 40, and a reasonable gain on first down. We'll call it about 6.
Jackson Hyatt comes up and makes a good tackle at the 41-yard line.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about the Enterprise defense. Last week, I thought it was one of the best. I thought the way they played Parker Crum last week was unbelievable.
Yeah, to have him finish with negative rushing yards.
It was incredible to watch as they did a great job. 2nd down and 5 coming up for the Beavers. Ball on the 41. Motion for Radden. Wheatley back to pass. Good protection. The pass is up in traffic and just overthrown. No one there. That might have been fortunate for the Beavers that was overthrown.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the design of that play was supposed to be, but it was very clear he only looked at one guy on that one, and that was Cutler Matheson, but he was bracketed double coverage downfield. Yeah,
no, you could see Devin Strong and others right with Matheson. So now a 3rd down and 5.
Big 3rd down play here now especially for the Enterprise defense down a score.
Yep, trying to recapture that momentum. The Beavers up 7-0, 2:38 left in the first. Clock stopped after the incompletion. Back to pass is Wheatley, and the receiver loses his balance, and that's unusual for Hollingshead. Fourth down.
Yeah, he had a lot of room to run, did Tavin Hollingshead, and just tripped over his feet as he caught the ball at the 43-yard line.
Now the Beavers have a decision to make. 4th down and 4, ball at the 44, and I think it's going to be the punt team.
Yeah, you've got the lead right now. At this point, flip the field to pin them back.
So Luke Robinson will step back to punt for the Beavers. He'll be standing his own 30. For the Wolves, it will be number 25, Jaden Drake. A dangerous punt returner for the Wolves. Robinson, be a short kick up the middle. It's going to land and take a bounce for the Enterprise Wolves. Not a lot of space there. Great field position for Enterprise after the punt.
So I talked about being able to try to flip the field. Unfortunately for Beaver, it didn't work on the high punt that had the backward spin, causing it to bounce backward back toward midfield. So great field position for Enterprise as a result.
So 147, still a slugfest here, 7-0. The Beavers on top. Enterprise will start on their own 44-yard line. And so far, we really haven't seen the Beavers so far have taken advantage of the trenches, and we'll see if the Wolves can respond.
We'll see how they get Kyron Bracken involved. Just 2 carries for 2 yards in the game for Bracken.
Phillips under center, hands off to Gardner up the middle. Gardner spins ahead, almost gets out of the pile. He'll gain 5.
Yeah, I don't know how he slipped out of that pile and able to come up with that 5-yard gain. Heck of a run by Braden Gardner.
Yeah, no, it looks he gets hit right at the line of scrimmage, and you're right, he just keeps the legs moving, almost gets out of that. There were players there, but credit Gardner to get the 5 yards. 1:23 with the clock running in this first quarter of the championship game in the 1A classification. The Beavers 7, no score for the Wolves. Phillips under center will hand off to Drake around the side. He's caught in the backfield. Langston there, and others now as a great job by Kelton Langston slicing through.
Yeah, we talk about the size of the Enterprise line on both sides and the speed of Beavers, and Kelton Langston displaying that right there as Jaden Drake, the running back, unable to get away from Kelton Langston.
And a quick timeout on the field. And Tony and Dave's timeout will take it as well and be back after this on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live, in partnership with B6 Media and KSL Sports.
Live high school sports action on Centracom Channel 10, B6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
Kern River Gas Transmission wishes the Millard Eagles good luck this season and reminds everyone that damage from others digging into a pipeline is one of the main causes of pipeline failures. Never guess where a pipeline is located. Whether you're a farmer, rancher, or homeowner, if you plan to dig, call Blue Stakes to make sure all utilities are marked. Call Blue Stakes at 800-662-4111 or the new national 811 number at least 48 hours before digging. Kern River Gas Transmission Company reminds you to call before you dig. It's free. It's the law.
Welcome back, Scott Langford, Robert Lovell, and of course the team here at the Eccles Coliseum on Southern Utah University. A big 3rd down and 9 for the Wolves, down 7-0 to the Beavers. The snap goes over the head of the quarterback, Phillips. Phillips will try to drop on it, can't get on it, and it will be recovered by the Beavers near the red zone. A huge mistake by the Enterprise Wolves.
Yes, Gage Radden with the recovery, and that's where if you're Riker Phillips and the lack of experience in that position, because you're just not used to doing this, had plenty of time to go and actually scoop that up and actually had time to turn and try to do something with it possibly, but because he just tried to jump on it with a bouncing ball, you never know what's going to happen, and Beaver takes over.
And now the Beavers with a huge opportunity starting on the Enterprise 21-yard line, already leading 7-0 on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard. Here's a quick pitch out to Hollingshead, right side. Hollingshead breaks into the 10, down to the 5, keeps his feet inside the 5-yard line, goes Tavin Hollingshead.
Big play for Tavin Hollingshead, and right now you can just feel Beaver being incredibly confident in what they are doing in this moment.
Yeah, we talked about the keys to the game. If the Beavers start fast, that goes in their advantage. The Beavers now with a 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, ball at the 2.
Big play there for Tavin Hollingshead.
Can the Enterprise defensive line hold? Here's Wheatley, 2nd and goal. He'll hand off. This one is back to Hollingshead, pushes in, and a touchdown, Tavin Hollingshead.
Yeah, he wasn't going to be stopped as he just lowered the shoulder. He knew where the line was to get into the end zone and drop the hammer to drive in.
So the Beavers score a touchdown after the turnover by the Enterprise Wolves. And in a championship game, a tough break for the Wolves on the high snap, and the Beavers make them pay. Our scoreboard now 13-0. Beaver Medical Clinic sponsored our score update. with offices in Beaver, Parowan, and Milford. And the Beavers now 2-score advantage with the Mesqua, ready to make it 14. Robinson with the hold. It looks like they're going to go back 5 yards.
Yep.
So, Robert, you talk about momentum. You know, high school football is all about momentum, and a huge momentum play in this one. And if we have a nominee for key play of the game, sponsored by Farm Bureau Financial Services, helping clients reach financial goals through managed investments, definitely a huge momentum swing with that turnover.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The good thing about football, though, is you're one big play or one big hit away from being able to pull that back. And but right now, it's all on Beaver's side.
And isn't that why we love high school football, basketball, all the sports?
Yes.
You know, it's all about that sudden momentum. Here's Mesqua. Now it'll be a 15-yard field goal instead, and the kick is up and looks good and is good. 14-0 our score on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard. We'll keep it here. If you're the Enterprise Wolves, Robert, what do you do down 14-0?
You've obviously got to come back and be able to put together a good drive. You can't panic. It's the first quarter.
Yeah,
You've already shown your defense can get a stop. You've gotten one stop already. Stick with what you do best. Don't panic and start doing different things. You need to be a little creative. It's the state championship. You've got to be creative in your play calling and find ways to move the ball downfield, but continue to just stick with your game plan, put together a drive. Do they need a score right here? Probably. It's obviously not imperative, necessary, but you need to score right here. All but necessary, I should say, for Enterprise to go and score. But again, they can't panic. That's the biggest thing.
Well, and the tendency would be like, let's change up our game plan and try to score fast. But you're right. First quarter, 25 seconds left, down 2 touchdowns. This game is still anybody's game. And I like what you said, is just consistency. Do what they do, because they've had great success doing it. Here's a Mesqua with the kickoff for the Beavers, up 14-0 on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard. Here's the kick. It's a deep kick, going to be taken, this one inside the 5-yard line. Across the 10, up the middle on the left side, and it's going to be taken down just across the 20-yard line to the 24.
Really nice return by the junior Devin Strong. Got that about the 3 or 4 yard line, and a 20-yard return out to the 24. He's got his speed. You can see he got up to speed in a hurry right there.
Well, we did a JV game down in Enterprise with Devin, and oh my goodness, he just a couple times he got that edge, and it was gone in a flash, puff of dust and a flash of smoke, and he was gone.
Well, week 1, Kyron Bracken was out, and Devin Strong ran for like 120 yards and a couple of touchdowns against Judge Memorial.
Yeah, super talent. This is a senior-laden team for the Enterprise Wolves. Definitely not a team that will panic. So the double wing with the I formation on this one. That's Bracken and Gardner. Hand off to Bracken. The second player through and trips. And going to gain a short gain. Good blocking, but good defensive pressure by the Beavers.
Really good tackle there by Andrew Hollingshead, who came through. It looked like Bracken had more room to go there, and Hollingshead able to shut that lane off.
Yeah, nice kick out block by Gardner, but you're right. Hollingshead just knifes in and takes that down. And that'll do it for the first quarter of play. It's all Beavers so far. 14-0 on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard. We'll take a break and be back with second quarter action on the Mid-Utah Audio Sports Network, TeamHive.live, in partnership with V6 Media and KSL Sports.
I'm Dr. Winters, a general dentist in Richfield. I invite you to take advantage of our 20 years of experience when it's time to get your wisdom teeth out.
We offer IV sedation so you can sleep through the procedure. We are right here in Richfield, so we are close by for all your pre- and post-operative needs. We strive to make the process comfortable, easy, and affordable. Visit wintersdental.com/wisdomteeth or call or text 435-896-6444.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
As we start second quarter action, the Enterprise Wolves will start on their own 29-yard line. Here's a handoff up the middle to Gardner, I believe. And Gardner pushes forward, and it'll be third down, maybe a first down. I think he got it. Yeah,
really nice push, again, from the offensive line. Gardner's big and strong, too, so you've got the strength of Gardner and then that offensive line continuing to push downfield to pick up a big first down.
Yeah, Gardner and Bracken both extremely strong. Then you throw in the speed of Drake. It's a talented combination for the Enterprise Wolves.
Already 5 carries for 22 yards for Braden Gardner.
So first down and 10. Here's Phillips under center. He'll hand off to the first back. Evans right there. It's Hathan actually, and others on the tackle.
Yeah, just a great job by the defensive line for Beaver to plug that hole. Whatever Coach Messersmith is seeing, he's liking that dive to Gardner. That's the 6th time we've already seen that dive out of, 10 plays, 12 plays?
Well, we talk, both these offenses are designed to like lull you to sleep, so to speak. Where you'll have Gardner and Bracken up the middle. Then you'll have Drake around the side because players get used to those different kind of plays, and then they don't adjust as well. Here's your second down and 8, and here's Bracken around the right side. Nice hole but a great tackle by the Beavers, Matheson.
Job. Yeah, Cutler Matheson able to make a probably first down saving tackle on Kyron Bracken. Again, it's so tight, though, that Beaver knows where they need to be to counter these runs that the Enterprise is bringing at them, because there wasn't a lot of space there for Bracken to cut up.
No, there wasn't, and it was great defensive play off the block, but there were some great blocks alongside, and you're right. I think that's first down yardage without the great tackle. Third down and long. Here's handoff up the middle. Not much there. Tries again, squirts forward, and makes it interesting. 4th and 1 coming up.
Yeah, Beaver just did everything they could to create a pile in the middle of the field, and Gardner ran right into the pile, bounced to the left to make it 4th and 1 with that 5-yard gain. And so decision time for Coach Messersmith. Looks like he's choosing to go for it.
Well, you talk about the pile, and the pile, he ran into his own players and was able to bounce off. So here's a huge play, a nominee for key play of the game. Sponsored by Farm Bureau Financial Services. A big 4th and 1, ball at the 44-yard line. They have to get the 45 for the first down. Here's Phillips under center. Phillips will step back out. Only 3 on the play clock. They won't get this one off. So another Tony and Dave's timeout. Big thanks to Tony and Dave's on Main Street in Beaver. We'll take it with them. It's 14-0 Beaver at the 9:42 mark of the second quarter on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live in partnership with V6 Media and KSL Sports.
Vince Lombardi once said, "The measure of who we are is what we do with what we have." The quote rings true whether applied to our country, our schools, our homes, or on the field of play. We applaud our student athletes for their hard work and determination on the field and in the classroom. Brought to you by Sunrise Engineering, promoting excellence in sports and education. Visit us at sunrise-eng.com. That's sunrise-eng.com.
Live high school sports action on CentraCom Channel 10, V6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
Welcome back, Scott Langford, Robert Lovell. And Robert, it's one of those times, 4th down and 1. This is huge. Yeah,
and before they took the timeout, you hear the term they've got 7 in the box, 8 in the box. Beaver didn't have 8 in the box. They had 8 on the line of scrimmage to counter the expected run play from Enterprise.
Yeah, Beaver expecting the wedge, and if I were Coach Messersmith, I'd say let's take it up the middle, follow my big guys, and here it is. 4th down and 1. Motion for Bracken. Hand off to Bracken on the right side. Bracken isn't going to get there, or he's going to be close. It all comes down to the spot.
Yeah, that far sideline judge initially started right on the line. Now it looks like he's slightly inside the line and might be just a little bit short.
Holy cow, this is going to be, I'm sure this one will be measured, but you've got to give credit to Bracken. It looked like he was stopped a yard short, falls forward as you look at this replay. Watch the effort by Kyron Bracken as he's hit hard by Matheson and others, and he's driven back.
Yeah, so where the forward progress was marked is the key here, and that is so close to. I mean, you're inches short of the line of the 45-yard line there.
And this is a huge swing in the game. Do the Beavers hold? Looks like they will hold. It will be Beaver High School ball. Wow.
So
definitely a key play of the game. The Beavers hold on 4th down for the second time in this contest, leading 14-0.
And a great field position as a result for the Beavers. They will start on Enterprise's side of the 50, right at the 45-yard line.
Enterprise chose to go to that right side, liking the strength of Kyron Bracken. I'm not so sure up to that middle, with the wedge. But Beavers done a good job on the wedge as well. So now the Beavers. Huge opportunity here at the Enterprise 45-yard line. Great field position. And it's going to be a double pass. Here's Orton, and it's going to be short, and it's going to be intercepted by the Wolves at the 20-yard line, bringing it back. I think it's Drake. Drake just leveled.
Or Strong, Devin
Strong. beautiful job, and credit the pressure. We got to see who hit Orton as he threw that ball, making it underthrown.
Yeah, there was a great pressure on the reverse pass. That was Drake that got the hit.
Drake.
Yeah.
I had it right. He just wasn't downfield. So Drake came from that left side, giving Strong the interception. So the Beavers give the momentum right back to the Enterprise Wolves. That is huge, as Enterprise just loses basically 10 seconds on the clock. They get the ball back, down 14-0. Phillips at the 43. There's a handoff on the left side to Drake. Drake hit by Gale and then by Blackburn.
Yeah, just a gain of a yard, and Beaver able to string that out to the sideline so well and not give up any ground as they string it out, and then be able to make the tackle when he tries to cut upfield.
Well, you got Tate Gale and Blackburn both with great speed, so the pursuit is there and making a good tackle. Second down and a long 9 for the Wolves. 8:57 left in the second quarter of play. Phillips will again under center, so the double wing. Motion now for Bracken. Bracken, no back to pass. Here's Phillips. Phillips on the right side, and he wisely throws that one out of bounds.
Yeah, really good coverage downfield. Of course, they look for the back out of the backfield in Drake, but then downfield, they did have the receiver in single coverage, but it was still really good coverage downfield by Beaver. Bodie Wheatley was in coverage downfield.
Yeah, Bodie Wheatley in coverage.
Or, excuse me, was that Luke Robinson?
It was Luke Robinson.
Yeah, Luke Robinson.
And you had Radden and Hollingshead on the back out of the backfield,
yes.
So not a lot there.
Yeah. The 9 looked like a 5 for a second, but yes, it was Luke Robinson there at safety.
I say that all the time. Third down and 9 coming up, 8:40. Again, games coming up, Robert. Preview just real quick while I wait for this play.
Yeah, San Juan South Summit coming up next in the 2A state championship. 36-game winning streak for San Juan, but South Summit has beaten them 8 straight times.
So here we go. Now there will be a timeout. That's the last timeout for the Enterprise Wolves. And let's keep talking about the games real quick. As you know, South Summit who was the last team? Desert Hills to beat San Juan?
45-20.
Yep.
And the team before that was Juab when San Juan was still 3A. And they lost a very close game to Juab, and Juab went on to win the state championship that year in 3A. Yeah. So their last 2 losses they're not anything you shake your head about.
Oh, certainly not. And they're defending 2A defending state champions, 2-time defending state champs, both with wins against Beaver in games that weren't close.
Yeah.
And this season, the Broncos have been just devastating. Not a close
game. They are
game.
winning by an average of 49. That's 7 touchdowns. Like, you say that. That's 7 touchdowns a game.
It is.
And this is a South Summit team, though, that is very good. They've got speed. They've got size. They tackle really well. They have like 64 sacks, I think, on the year. But the key for San Juan, Parker Schneider gets rid of it usually in less than 3 seconds.
He is a talent for sure. Here's your third down and 9, a big down for the Wolves. Phillips back to pass, looking over the middle, no pressure. Nice space. Phillips tucks and runs and will not get to the first down. Tate Gale there. Fourth down coming up.
That's going to be 4th and 3.5 yards, it looks like, for the Wolves. And they got a good kick-out block to make it so he had time to run, but looks like they're going to bring the punt team on anyway.
Yeah, punt team on. 4th down and 4. Again, 0 for 2 on 4th down for the Enterprise Wolves so far in this game. The nightcap will be the Richfield Wildcats and the Manti Templars. That one looks to be an awesome game. I really think it's going to, massive favorites for San Juan. It's a pick'em game for Richfield and Manti. Richfield probably with the edge.
Yeah, Richfield with the edge. That's going to be a big one, that's for sure.
Here's the punt by the Wolves. No pressure. And so the ball will bounce and take a bounce for the Wolves at about the 15-yard line. Nice punt for Enterprise.
Beaver didn't apply any pressure on the punt return team, and so it made it so it gave Enterprise plenty of time to get downfield and then allow that punt to get up and inside the 20-yard line.
So the field position, the Beavers will start on their own 15-yard line. With 7:51, this is where strategy starts coming into play. If the Enterprise Wolves can get a stop and force the Beavers to punt, they can flip the field and then go in with some momentum. They do have the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, I do think they are going to need to score before this first half comes to an end, though, for Enterprise.
Here's Wheatley, motion for Hollingshead, handoff up the middle to Gale. Gale with a big hole and runs over some players. A first down for the Beaver senior Tate Gale. And, of course, that is a Mike's Foodtown first game, proud to support Beaver High School.
Yeah, big run for Gale, and you mentioned he running over players. That's Phillips that took the blow in the middle of the field. He made the tackle but took a shot on the play.
Yeah, Gale, linebacker for the Beavers. Both these teams go both ways. As you see, the quarterback making the tackle, and that moves it out to near the 30 on the 29. Here's a pitch out now. Hollingshead with the speed as he cuts up. Big hit, and Hollingshead keeps the legs moving. That's a tough 5 to 6 yards.
You know, Kyron Bracken read that play perfectly defensively for Enterprise. He took on that initial block, which opened it up for his teammates to come make a tackle. But instead of going low, they try to tackle him up high. And that's just, you're not going to be able to bring him down easily if you go high.
Yeah, and that was Gardner, who's certainly capable of it, but Hollingshead is much bigger than he looks.
Yeah.
He is a very, very strong young man. Blackburn to the left, and into the slot goes Blackner. Here's a handoff. This one's going to be to Hollingshead. Hollingshead not much there at all. And that time, Bracken able to push back the Beaver ball carrier.
Yeah, short gain out to the 37-yard line to make it 3rd and short. So enough to make it so it's a very easily managed first down to pick up here for the Beavers. But good job by Enterprise to create a pile, which he ran into. And then the backside, Jaden Drake came into the backside to help clean it up.
Yeah, I thought it was Bracken. Actually, Bracken just plugged it up.
Yeah.
And then the help came from the Enterprise team. 3rd down and 2. 6:18 left in this first half of play on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard, and a timeout. This is Tony and Dave's timeout by the Beavers, and we'll take it and be back on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live, Channel 6, and KSL Sports.
Zions Bank is celebrating 150 years in our community. Whether you're looking to open a new account or save for the future, their bankers are ready to help you right now or when it's convenient for you. Now more than ever, Zions Bank is for you.
The living room. It's a great place to watch TV. Just like your backyard, break time at the office, or while on the go. Now you can watch TV everywhere. Call or visit Centracom.com to learn more.
Live high school sports action on Centracom Channel 10, B6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
3rd down and 2 coming up for the Beavers. 6:13 left in the half. They lead by 2 scores, 14-0 on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard. A big play for both teams. Here's a quick handoff. Here's going to be Hollingshead. He'll spin around. He gets out of it, and a first down for the Beaver High School Beavers. And credit Tavin Hollingshead with some tough running.
Yeah, Hollingshead's so hard to bring down. And again, Enterprise continues to try to tackle him high. And when you do that, he's able to be strong enough to power out of that, keep the legs moving, and pick up a big first down.
Yeah, ran through the tackle of Jaden Drake and was able to get the first down. The Beavers back in business at the 43-yard line. Clock running at 5:55 left in the first half of play.
Hollingshead's averaging over 6 yards a carry, 11 carries in the game for 68 yards already.
Yeah, Tavin Hollingshead, super talented back. Here's your first down and 10 play. Wheatley, hand off to Gale. Gale on the right side, picks his way through, has a hole, and runs over a player across the 50 into the 45. Goes Tate Gale.
Yeah, big run by Tate Gale. That's a really good tackle, though, by Jaden Drake. He had a guy blocking him and still somehow made that tackle with a guy on top of him. But a great run by Tate Gale. Big hole opened up by the offensive line.
Yeah, great blocking. And you're right. And he saves a touchdown. There's no one on this right side if Drake doesn't make that tackle. The Beavers into Enterprise territory at the 46-yard line. Here's Wheatley. Motion for Hollingshead. Handoff again up the middle to Gale. Gale not much there as he's hit immediately. He'll gain about 2.
The key there to me, and I've already been talking about it, is the player that made the tackle there for Enterprise, Mason Nelson, went low, grabbed the legs and made it so he couldn't keep powering through anything.
Right, and then Holt there to help out. Parker Holt, watching him play has been just a treat. What a talent at that defensive side of the ball. I'm not sure if he has plans, but he's a great player.
Yes, he is.
2nd down and 8. Here's a pitch out. Here's Hollingshead. Hollingshead falling blockers, has the edge and more as he goes across the 40 to the 30. Keeps his feet inside the 30 to about the 26-yard line.
So Jackson Hyatt, defense at that time, made the decision to cut inside and try to stop the run in the backfield, which allowed him to get to the edge and get down the sideline.
Now the Beavers at the 27-yard line. 4:32 left in this first half. They lead 14-0. And this drive, the Enterprise Wolves will need a stop on this drive to stay in this one, as they do not want to go down 3 scores to the Beaver High School team, especially with the defense that the Beavers have.
Yes.
Here's Wheatley. He'll hand off to Hollingshead, following blockers. Round the right side, not a lot on first down, as they'll get near the 25.
Yeah, that wasn't a lot there. In fact, Enterprise did a good job of using those backers to slide in and fill the hole.
Just a reminder, we're looking for a player of the game at the end of this one, sponsored by State Farm Insurance. Brent Stapley, the agent in Beaver, 438-5451. He's my agent. He could be your agent as well. And he's just a great job. Personalized service and care from Brent Stapley at State Farm Insurance. We're also looking for a Timberline Restaurant sub of the game. Joey, Andrea, Danny, and the gang at the Timberline Restaurant do a fantastic job. Mobile food catering, food truck, mobile pizza oven, and more. Wheatley, hands off up the middle. Gale, and he's hit immediately as he gets near the 20, so it'll be 3rd and short coming up in what I would guess would be 4-down territory.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Good tackle there by Kyron Bracken, but Beaver, they're happy with that. They got the 3 to 4 yards they wanted on that play to make it 3rd and short.
How many carries for Gale? We've seen
That's
a
5.
huge dose of Tavin Hollingshead.
Yeah.
And a lot like the first game these two teams played, you saw Hollingshead, attacking the edge, opened up the middle. Then you see Gale. They ended up with about the same amount of yards in the game.
5 carries for 40 yards now for Gale, 8 yards a carry.
3rd down and 5. Here's a handoff. This one is going to be Wheatley, option on the right side, looking for a space, goes Hollingshead, and a beautiful tackle on the edge. It'll be 4th down.
Again, Jaden Drake, he had to go high on that one because of the way he was being blocked, and really did make a great tackle to make it 4th and short.
And tough for the Beavers. Hollingshead down, not getting up after the tackle.
Yeah, because he went high, he grabs those shoulders, and the way that he ripped him down to the ground certainly was an awkward way to go down. You'll get a good look at it here on the replay. Again, appreciate the team here providing the video coverage of this game. Barrett Hilton, Adam Coombs, and the guys down on camera down at the field.
Yeah, this will be a huge loss for the Beavers with Hollingshead as he gets pulled down. Oh, and the leg whip is what happens.
Yeah, ran into Kyron Bracken's quad.
Yeah, and that's a broken leg kind of play with the leg whip coming across. We'll take a short break while they tend to Tavin Hollingshead. Be back after this on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live in partnership with Channel V6 and KSL Sports.
With Chevy Silverado and Silverado HD, you can take on the mountains, or you can move them. With the power of up to 36,000 pounds of max available towing and the confidence of an available 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen. Whatever your mountain, there's a Silverado for you. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all Silverado 1500 pickups. Plus, get $750 cash allowance on this Silverado. Ski Chevy, now at your Rocky Mountain Chevy dealers.
Come back 4th down. Tavin Hollingshead up and walking, which is the good news. He'll be attended to. But the Beavers with a 4th down. The ball's on the 20. They have to get to the 16. So 4th down and about 3 to go. Heavy on the left side go the Beavers. Gale in the backfield. Here's Wheatley. Beavers with 1 timeout. No timeouts for the Wolves. Down to 10 on the play clock. And now the Beavers will take that timeout. And we'll keep it here. Tavin Hollingshead being tended to on the sideline, that could be a huge loss for the Beavers in the second half.
Yeah, and based on how he came up and off, and he knows what this game is, right? It's a state championship. He had pressure on his legs. He seemed to be okay, but certainly took a shot on the play, and they're going to, I would assume, just give him some extra time now. Don't have him play the rest of this half. Give him this extra time at halftime, and I expect that we'll see him in the second half. Now, I could be wrong there, but I think that's what we'll see in a state championship type of game.
And what you'll also see is Santiago Amezcua, who will attempt a field goal, as the Beavers have the field goal team already. Santiago definitely with the range, so this will be a 37-yard field goal for the Beaver senior. Lots of pressure.
Yeah, he looked great on his extra points. He already had to kick a 25-yard extra point, and looked great on it. Had easily the distance. This one's from the right hash instead of straight down the middle, so that's always interesting to see how different kickers kick from each hash on either side.
So the Beavers, with 2:28 left in the half, will elect to kick a field goal. Robinson with the hold. Here's Amezcua. Ball right at the 37. Snap comes back, and the kick is up. Has the distance. Does it have the range? It does
wide
not,
right.
As they say, wide left. And that was close.
Yeah, wide right.
Wide right.
Yeah, you could see it cross in front of this near side post. And, yeah, it was a great kick again by Amezcua. But, again, being on that right hash. And the other key piece is here, we're on a college field. It's a narrower goal post than it is on a high school field.
So as you see the replay, great job on the camera work for the people. And you can see it clearly. You saw it live. I did not. As I've got 2 windows I was trying to get around. So the Enterprise Wolves dodge a bullet. They're down 14-0. They've got 2:22 left in the first half. They start with the ball on the 20. On the right side, Bracken with a great tackle by Gage Radden. Tackle for loss.
Yeah, Gage Radden came in and blew that one up very early, and Bracken just had nowhere to go for a loss of 4.
Yeah, Radden just flies past all the blockers, including the running back, and takes the legs out of Kyron Bracken. So second down to 15 coming up No timeouts for either team, so no one can stop the clock. And Enterprise will send the play in from the sideline.
You know, you talk about the ability of this Beaver team to be able to make plays outside the edges, while Enterprise is struggling so hard to find anything outside.
Here we go. 2nd down and 15. Phillips will hand off right up the middle to Gardner. Gardner bounces off some tackles, runs into a wall of blockers, though. Short gain. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, again, just nowhere to go on that one. They've done a good job of plugging the holes. The defensive line is doing great for Beaver. And then the speed of those linebackers to get to the edge when they bring up the defensive backs like Gage Radden on that previous play to come up and make a play in the backfield. Right now, Beaver's defense is hitting on all cylinders.
Enterprise taking their time down to 110. Might be content to go in down 14-0 at the half. Definitely not one where you want to open up the playbook to throw long passes to see if you can score quickly.
Yeah, you're just not used to it.
Right. Down to 58 seconds. Here's your 3rd down and play up the middle. It's going to go to Bracken, I believe, and he'll have a few yards on 3rd down. It'll be 4th down coming up.
Yeah, Gardner again with the carry on that one, right on that dive. And they're going to let that clock run down, and then they'll go ahead and kick it away.
Yeah, there'll be it looks like with 31 on the play clock, 37 on the game clock, there'll be about 6 seconds. So Enterprise, with no timeouts, will have to get this off, and they may take a delay of game, it appears.
But you talk about Gale averaging 8 yards a carry, Hollingshead averaging 6 yards a carry. Right now you look at Enterprise, Bracken has 6 carries for 4 yards total.
Yeah.
Drake has the 4 for 13, but he did have a big loss of yards too. And then Gardner has the 9 for 37, so averaging just under 4 yards a carry. But it's been a struggle for the Enterprise team to be able to find any yards.
Yeah, it really has. The Beaver defense has done a really great job with that. Now, with this punt formation, do the Beavers come after it? They haven't put any pressure on the punter. With 3 seconds left, do they, Deegan Blackner, a great kick returner for the Beavers, but do they put the pressure or do they set up for the return?
Looks like they're putting the pressure as they're not even dropping Blackner back. And we got, I don't know what came first. If the Enterprise moved in response to the rush by Beaver.
Well, according to the Beavers, it's Enterprise. According to Enterprise, it's
like
Beavers.
It's going to be on Beaver. So, and it seemed like Enterprise likely moved because of that response that you saw because Beaver came rushing hard.
Now, here's the interesting thing: is the punt team comes off the field for the Enterprise Wolves.
Yeah, everybody's leaving the field for Enterprise, and a whole new unit comes back out.
So this will be interesting. 3 seconds left in the first half. Beavers 14, no score yet for the Wolves. As we come to the end of the first half of play, great championship matchup between the number 1 and the number 3. Phillips comes out under center.
With 3 seconds, any play is going to take 3 seconds. And so I wonder if that's what Coach Messersmith is saying. Just run the ball, and the clock will run out.
So Phillips will hand off. He's got Drake on the left side. Drake will run out the half, and that's exactly what they did as he was able to run it out, get across the 30-yard line, and that'll do it as the Beavers in this championship matchup have a great first half, leading 14-0.
Even picked up a rare first down on that run.
And a first down to end the half. It is now time for our Jones & DeMille Engineering halftime. Appreciate Jones & DeMille Engineering sponsoring our halftimes all season long. And they applaud teams for hard work, dedication, and commitment. The Race for Excellence has no finish line at Jones & DeMille Engineering. It's halftime here at the Eccles Coliseum on the campus of Southern Utah University. It's the Beavers 14, no score for the Wolves. And we'll be back with stats and a recap of the first half. All this and more on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live, in partnership with Channel V6, as well as KSL Sports.
Are you a new CDL license holder? If so, Barney Trucking would like to train and pay you to become a world-class truck driver on state-of-the-art equipment. They also provide you with reliable, courteous support, a fantastic wage, paid holidays, solid benefits, home daily schedules, paid time off, an excellent safety record, and respect. Dependable truck drivers have been Barney Trucking's #1 investment since 1947. Start your outstanding career by applying today at barneyjobs.com. barneyjobs.com.
This school year will be different.
This year, I'll do my assignments on time.
I will listen to my teacher.
I solemnly swear.
I won't eat any glue.
I'll do my homework every night.
Every night.
Research? No problem. School? I got this.
This year will be different. Visit Centricom.com to power your education with the best internet experience. Everyone succeeds with School to the Power of Centricom.
Any Hour Services has a team of technicians that can take care of any plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning needs you might have around your house. Got a drain that's clogged? Call Any Hour Services. Need a ceiling fan installed? Call Any Hour Services. Can't get the heat to come on? Call Any Hour Services. Maintenance, repair, or install, any job, any size, Any Hour Services. Mention this ad and take $50 off your next visit. Call Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhour.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Bose Auto Parts is a locally owned company, and their mission is to be the leading parts provider by serving their customers, team members, and communities through hard work, integrity, and striving for excellence. Bose Auto Parts has 5 key locations across Utah: St. George, Cedar City, Beaver, Mount Pleasant, and Saratoga Springs. Bose delivers to wherever you are and community you might be in. Between their stores, they have won 16 Platinum Awards, 4 Best of Iron County, 3 Best of Southern Utah, 2 Best Places to Work. That's Bose Auto Parts. Discover squeaky cheese, hand-dipped ice cream, and family-friendly bathrooms all at the Creamery, Beavers Cheese Store. With an expanded storefront, you can explore our farm-to-table story, sample our signature cheeses, enjoy breakfast or lunch at the Creamery kitchen, or shop some of Utah's favorite products from specialty cheeses to local honey and jam. Stop on in and discover what the excitement is all about. Visit the Creamery in Beaver at 165 South, 500 West, now open Sundays noon to 6 and extended hours Thursdays and Fridays until 8 p.m.
At UCCU, we'll provide you with a low-rate line of credit that makes it easy to access the equity in your home with no fees or closing costs.
Simply complete an application on your phone or computer and select the low-rate option you prefer.
And then sit back and enjoy the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have a low-rate line of credit. Ready for whatever life throws at you.
To learn more or start your application, visit uccu.com or stop by any branch.
Live high school sports action on Centracom Channel 10, B6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
Welcome back. It's time for the Jones Mill Engineering halftime. It's the Beavers 14. No score for the Enterprise Wolves in the first half as we end the first half of play here in the 1A state championship game between these two teams. And Jones Mill Engineering sponsors our halftime. They support our youth in their efforts to develop new talents and passions, paving the way to success. That's Jones & DeMille Engineering. They just completed a project for our scoreboard sponsor, Beaver Valley Hospital, and they do a great job and have done a great job on the project that they were helping the hospital with. So big thanks to Jones & DeMille Engineering. If you're joining us late, the Beavers got the ball on the first drive of the game, and they picked up the ball on their own 40 and went 60 yards. An impressive way to start the game for the Beavers. We talked about these two defenses. These are the heavyweights of the 1A classification. And it has been, the defenses have been good, but the Beavers, had a really nice sustained drive. The only one of the half really for the Beavers in that first half was the very first one.
Yeah, and then other than that, they got the short field,
right,
which led to a on the Enterprise 21-yard line. 2 plays later, they were able to punch it in. But the defenses have, for the most part, have done their job, but especially the Beaver defense has very much done their job, as Enterprise's offense has really struggled in this first half.
Yeah, no, it's been a struggle. And if we look at the rest of the possessions, Enterprise turns the ball over on downs in Beaver territory. Beavers punt. There's a fumble that leads to the second score. That fumble was huge, as it was a snap over the head of the quarterback, and that led to the second Beaver touchdown, as you mentioned, the short field. Enterprise turns the ball over on downs, and that's the second fourth down conversion that the Enterprise was unable to convert.
Yeah, you look at fourth downs, they go 1 for 3 on fourth downs at Enterprise in this first half.
The Beavers follow up with an interception, a mistake of their own, as Orton comes in on the halfback pass, throws a deep ball, hit as he throws, and intercepted by, that was
Devin Strong.
Devin Strong, that's right. Enterprise forced to punt. Beavers miss a field goal, and then that was the half, so our 14-0. Let's take a look at our stats. Big thanks to Brad James. Of course, we've got Statman Dave here as well. But let's talk a little bit about those. We talked about the defenses, and so far it's the Beaver defense dominating this first half of play.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Looking at total offense, 158 yards for Beaver, just 47 for Enterprise.
Yeah, so the Beaver offense is about on par what they usually get. Enterprise far lower with only 47 yards. That's pretty incredible by a defensive squad.
Yes, it is, and because it's not like this is a bad offensive team from Enterprise.
It's a great team.
It's a very good team, and the defense just really getting the job done for Beaver.
4 first downs for the Enterprise Wolves, 8 for the Beavers. The Beavers have 3 passing. Nope, they have 0 passing first downs. I think they do have a passing first down. Anyway, 8 total to 4. Net yards rushing, 144 for the Beavers, 47 for the Wolves.
The passing first down you're thinking of was the touchdown.
That's right.
So they
you're correct.
Yeah, they had 2 short passes before that did not get first down, so they did get the touchdown.
Yeah, Bodie Wheatley is 3 for 4 for a total of 1 yard. Not a lot there. 0 for 1. All right, help me out here, Robert.
So he's 3 for 4 for 14 yards. Passing. Yeah, then the 1 touchdown is Bodie Wheatley.
Right, and then one incompletion goes for the interception goes to Davin Orton. Enterprise Wolves without a passing yard in this one, so it's all been rushing for the Wolves.
Yeah.
As you would expect.
Yeah, looking at some of those individuals for Beaver. Tavin Hollings had 13 carries for 89 yards, a touchdown. Tate Gale, 5 for 40. So those two combined are averaging nearly 15 yards a carry.
Yeah, and that's, kind of unbelievable for me as the Enterprise defense is really a solid group, but the Beaver offense has really taken advantage of their speed in getting those 2 running backs and yards in the first half.
And I talked about one of the keys to me in this game was what quarterback was going to make plays when they needed them to. They called on Bodie Wheatley early. I think it was a great call by Beaver to get him in rhythm early. He made just a quick out pass for a 6-yard gain, and then he made a good decision on a running play, and he, of course, threw the 6-yard touchdown pass to Cutler Matheson as well. So Bodie Wheatley, to me, has been a key piece of this game. Even though he's not he's not Tate Gale or Tavin Hollings said with what they need to do consistently, he's been big when he had to be.
And doing the right things.
Yep.
You talked a little bit about the fact that the Beavers have been able to exploit the defense on the edges, which opens up the middle for Gale. On the reverse side of that, the Enterprise Wolves have not been able to do that.
Right. Jaden Drake, Kyron Bracken have not been able to get to the edges because of how well Beavers linebackers have handled things defensively. Braden Gardner has been okay. As you look at his numbers in this first half, 9 carries for 37 yards. He's averaging 4 yards a carry, but he's not meant to be able to get big gains down the middle of the field. They've got to find ways to open up the offense.
Well, and I think the speed of Drake and getting Jackson Hyatt in the game as well. I think those 2 players are going to have to be key in the second half for the Wolves.
Yeah, I would agree.
To kind of opening things up in the middle for Bracken and Gardner, or on the edge for either of those players as well.
Yeah. Now, so you look at some of the numbers for Enterprise. Their total rushing yards is 47. Now, there is a skew there because of the big loss of 24 yards on that snap over the head.
True.
And so it does skew those a little bit more than they would be.
60. Yep. If we actually consider rushing for what it is, more in the 60 range.
So that's just a look at where the Wolves are at offensively.
Yeah, great observation. And so we're going to take one more break on our Jones Millinger in halftime, supporting our youth in their efforts to succeed. And they put their money where their mouth is, supporting our youth in all of their efforts, both academically and in sports endeavors as well. Big thanks to Jones Mill Engineering. We'll take our final break. When we come back, we'll have keys to the second half and a look forward to the rest of the games coming up later today at Southern Utah University. All of this and more on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live, Channel V6, in partnership with KSL Sports.
Edge Tire Pros in Nephi is the smart choice for a new set of tires for your pickup, work vehicle, or passenger car. The technicians at Edge Tire Pros provide trustworthy service on oil changes, brake work, and suspension accessories like lift kits, bed liners, and custom rims. Choose from a wide variety of tires including Cooper, BF Goodrich, and Michelin with a nationwide warranty on free flat tire repair, free rotation, and free road hazard. For a limited time, get the Edge Bronze Oil Change for just $19.99. Edge Tire Pros across the street from Parks Home Furnishings on Main Street in Nephi.
Having a strong support team that you can trust can make or break an individual outcome. Just like on a sports team, our healthcare team at the Delta and Fillmore Community Hospitals are dedicated to provide quality care close to home on an individual basis. From our physicians to our nursing staff, along with our technicians and many other healthcare professionals, our team is ready to provide the best quality care for our friends, neighbors, and local athletes in Miller County. Intermountain Delta Community and Fillmore Community Hospitals, providing a strong, dedicated team for you.
You've heard it.
With the helpful hardware, folks.
You've probably sung it. It means you get the help and products you need at Fish Lake Lumber and Ace in Beaver. They're the only national retailer that carries Benjamin Moore paint. If you want a new look for your home, inside or out, look no further than the top-rated paint brands. They have everything you need for a successful project, plus the color matching technology allows them to match any color. So head to Fish Lake Lumber and Ace today.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Feeling hurt? Uncomfortable standing, walking, or running? Salt Lake Running Company offers free custom shoe fittings. With an assortment of functional footwear and inserts, we've got solutions to help you have your best workout, work day, or work escape. For over 25 years, SLRC's award-winning customer service has helped people find the perfect personalized fit that keeps them comfortably moving. Visit us at one of our locations along the Wasatch Front or shop online at slrc.com today.
Love cheese? We do too. If you are ready to take on the responsibility and opportunity that comes with being an employee owner, Great Lakes Cheese in Fillmore is ready for you. Grow with the largest natural cheese packager in the nation. Full-time positions available for every shift. Apply online at greatlakescheese.com. Again, that's greatlakescheese.com. Great Lakes Cheese, located on the south end of Fillmore, supporting Millard and surrounding counties in central Utah.
For more than 3 decades, the Intermountain Power Project has served as a model of regional energy cooperation, generating and transmitting coal-fueled electricity to a diverse group of municipal utilities and rural electric cooperatives with operations across 6 U.S. states. Now Intermountain Power is expanding its role as a regional energy hub, including utilizing renewable energy resources. Intermountain Power is proud to support and invest in our central Utah communities. Visit IPAUtah.com to learn more about IPP Renewed.
Live high school sports action on Centracom Channel 10, B6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
Welcome back. Scott Langford, Robert Lovell, Jones & Mill entering halftime from the campus of Southern Utah University. The Beavers and the Enterprise Wolves in the 1A state championship game. It's halftime as we approach the third quarter. The Beavers leading 14-0. And Robert, as we talk about the second half, the Beavers have been a first half team, and the Wolves have been a second half team. This one could get very interesting coming up in the second half.
Yes, it could. And Enterprise gets the ball first, which, we talked about earlier when we felt like they really needed to score.
Right.
We said it wasn't completely necessary, but basically necessary. And this is the reason why, because they were able to get enough stops defensively to make it so Beaver did not get in the end zone again. And now they still get the ball first to try to make this a one-score game. And so we'll see if what you just said holds true, if they're able to come out and continue to be that second half type of team and drive down the field.
Well, and the Enterprise Wolves did what they needed to do in the second quarter, as they held the Beavers to a field goal attempt that was wide. They also stopped them another drive as well. So Enterprise has done what they need to do to stay in this game. Obviously, it's an uphill battle, down 14, but definitely not out of reach. And if we look at last week's games, Enterprise came on and overwhelmed Duchesne in the second half, and the Beavers kind of had to hold on against the Kanab Cowboys. So there's some intrigue here for these two teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, both you and I, when Beaver came out of the tunnel, we were looking for number 21 to emerge. Davin Holling said did come out, had a slight limp to him, and so that'll be key as well. You talked about that, how big that would be if he isn't able to go, or even at full strength. I think he's going to go. There's going to be adrenaline. He's going to be able to go. The question is how much strength it will have.
Yeah, because Tevin Hollings said his game relies on speed and strength. And if he has a loss in some of the speed, how will that impact him? So as we look at the Farm Bureau Financial Services keys of the second half, just to remember that Farm Bureau Financial Services specializes in insurance for agriculture, life, auto, and commercial. They pride themselves in planning, helping clients reach their financial goals, and are a great sponsor of Beaver High School Athletics on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network and TeamHive.live. For both teams, first for the Enterprise Wolves, what do they have to do?
They've got to score. I think they have to score on this drive. I think you need to set the tone early here and drive down the field and put points on the board and be able to come back against Beaver. Then obviously they've got to find ways to open up the playbook. They have to start being able to move the ball downfield and not just rely on 4-yard runs by Braden Gardner up the middle. And then for the Beaver side of things, don't go away from what you do best. I wondered why they went to that reverse pass when they just shown they could drive the ball down the field. I get you're trying to take a shot sometimes, but you're up 2 scores. Go do what you do best. Move the ball down the field. Your defense has been dominant, and continue to rely on what those guys do.
So here we go. Second half action coming up in the championship game. The Beavers up 14-0 as Santiago Mesco will kick off for the Beavers. And back for the Enterprise Wolves will be Devin Strong and I believe Drake. Kick is up. It's a high kick back into the end zone, and it will be a touchback. It was close.
Yeah, Devin Strong wanted to be able to keep it out, but had to take a step back into the end zone in order to catch it. So Enterprise will start on their own 20.
We talked about the speed of the junior Devin Strong. And he would love to get uncorked.
Yes.
Interestingly enough is that Drake and Young had some good returns in the first game between these two teams. Mesqua was injured, so he wasn't able to pin him back at the 20. That's one of those keys of the game we talked about. So here's the Enterprise Wolves in what might be a situation which they really need to establish momentum, not necessarily desperate yet. Down 2 scores. Here's Phillips up the middle, and there's a good hole on first down, and that'll take a gain of about 8 or 9.
Instead of opening up with a balanced offensive set, double wing, they went both wings on the same side. They stacked those two backs on that side, which overloaded the pressure by Beaver on the left side.
Well, and then you also saw Parker Holt take on 3 defenders on that play as well, leading to the 9 yards. There's a second down and 1. And there's going to be a push right up the middle, and that will be a gain of 4, a first down for the Enterprise Wolves across the 30 to the 34.
Well, back-to-back first downs now by the Wolves. They got a first down to end the half and a first down to begin the half.
Yeah, keep an eye on Tavin Hollingshead, and definitely hobbled as he's moving on that outside, so we'll keep an eye on him. First down and 10, ball at the 34 for the Wolves. Again, just underway in the second half action in the championship game. Here's a handoff to Gardner. The ball's on the ground. I think Gardner's able to fall. Nope, the Beavers say they have it. This would be huge if it is a mistake, and the Beavers end up with the football.
Cutler Matheson comes up with the recovery. Gardner dropped that immediately. He had the wrong hands up. He had his hands switched, and then he ends up just putting that one right on the turf. It just slipped right off his elbow, and Cutler Matheson able to come up with the recovery.
Wow, watch the camera work. Big thanks to the camera work on that one. You can see the ball come flying up in the middle, and the Beavers with a huge break with the ball in Enterprise territory at the 34. Here's Wheatley, and a pitch out to Hollingshead. Not much there. It'll be a loss on the play.
Well, Hollingshead had to tap it up in the air about 3 times before he could reel it in, and making it really difficult to try to get anything downfield. And Enterprise covered it really well to help for a loss of yards.
Yeah, first down and 12. A little bit high, bounces off the helmet, and Hollingshead did a good job of keeping that one. Second down and 12. 10:40 left in the third. Just a reminder, at the end of the game, we're going to have all kinds of awards. The Timberline Restaurant Sub of the Game. Haven't been too many subs. This might be we might change that to the defensive player of the game. Second down and 12. Motion for Hollingshead. Handoff to Gale. Gale hit immediately and then wrapped up. He might get a gain of 1 on the play, 3rd and long.
Yeah, just nowhere to go. He tried to spin out of it, and Parker Holt was there to wrap him up and continue to drive him back with 3 or 4 others.
Yeah, how would you like to spin off a pile and run into Parker Holt? Yeah, hit immediately as he received the ball. And now a 3rd down and long.
So we said that we think Beaver Enterprise needs to score on that initial drive. Now that they haven't, there is still a way to do it, but it just becomes a lot more difficult, and they need their defense to make big plays for them.
And they can't let Beaver score on this drive. Yep. So here's Wheatley, back to pass. Look at his right, has a pass over to Hollingshead. He has first down territory, 30, 20. Cuts back, 10, Tavin Hollingshead for the touchdown. Wow.
Beautiful pump fake by Bodie Wheatley to get everybody on the secondary for Enterprise to bite to the opposite side of the field. Then Hollingshead releases out of the backfield, and he drops it in there perfectly for him, and no one there to be able to bring him down.
What a beautiful play call is. You have to respect that running. And Wheatley, as you mentioned, what a great play fake. And it froze everyone. Here's a Mesqua with the extra point. Luke Robinson with the hold for the Beavers. Kick is up, and it is good. 21-0 on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard. When we come back on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live, Channel V6, and KSL Sports.
School is back in session, which means cold and flu season isn't far behind. So stop by Service Drug today and receive your flu shot. They have vaccines available for all ages, and most insurances pay 100% of the cost. Service Drug also offers vaccines for other diseases, including shingles and pneumonia. Receive your injection in a private professional environment administered by licensed professionals. Let Service Drug provide your flu shot and receive a $5 coupon good on a $25 purchase, and be entered to win a $25 gift certificate as well. Service Drug in Delta and Fillmore, dedicated to your good health and good value.
Live high school sports action on Centracom Channel 10, V6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
And the Beavers with another touchdown off a turnover. That's the second touchdown off of turnover. And they take the short field and turn into a score. They lead 21-0. And that was an important play for the Beavers as they go up the 3 scores.
Yeah, big play for Beaver, and it's really put Enterprise now behind the 8 ball. Yeah. And both coaches talked about turnovers. Enterprise especially talked about turnovers based off of the last time these two teams played.
And here goes the kick. That's another touchback for Santiago Amezcua. His nickname has been the Weapon. And again, he's pinned the Enterprise Wolves deep with their talented returners with Drake and also Strong. So Enterprise will start on their own 20. Now they're in a must score quickly. And this is where, you can't afford to grind it out anymore. Now you're going to have to, because a good drive for the double wing is going to take 6 or 7 minutes. You don't have that anymore.
Yeah, you can go 4 minutes. If you can go score in 4 minutes, you're okay as long as your defense can get a quick stop.
Here we go. First down and 10. Hand off to the back. That's Bracken. He cuts up, has a lane, and he'll have good yardage on first down.
Best run of the day for Kyron Bracken. In fact, prior to that, his best run was 4 yards and able to pick up 8 or 9 yards there. Got a good block, allowing him to cut inside and move downfield.
Yeah, nice job. As Hollingshead with the tackle as he comes back from the backside. Second down and 2. Split out to the left. This, I believe, number 3 for the Wolves. Handoff up the middle. First down yardage for the Wolves as they'll get to the 30, and the pile continues to push forward. I'm not sure what the official rule on that is. Is it just when the pile stops long enough, or do you know?
I'm not sure on that one either, but it was interesting watching that far side line judge. He was right on the 30, started to come in, and then backed back up to let the pile move forward another yard to the 31.
So just a reminder, you can push the player, but you can't grab the player and assist.
Well, you can push the pile.
Push the pile, but you can't push the player.
You can't push or grab the player or pull the player.
Yep, Enterprise with that first down and 10 at the 31-yard line. Phillips under center. We'll hand off. Drake on the left side has a nice block and some good space. Cuts in, first down yardage as he gets across the 40-yard line for Jaden Drake.
He wasn't going to bust that one for a touchdown, but a good tackle by Baylor Blackburn did make it so he didn't get another 5 or 10 yards.
Yeah, really good job blocking on this backside by the Wolves. You can see Gardner with a good block on the edge, and also there's Parker Holt downfield with the block as well. So the Wolves down 21-0 at the 8:14 mark of the third quarter on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard. Split out to the right will be Aylworth. And it's a handoff up the middle. Gardner with it. He'll gain 4 or 5 on first down. Gets out to the 48.
Yeah, you're starting to see that offensive line get a little better push now in this second half from the Enterprise Wolves and make some plays. And as a result, they've been able to open up that outside run that we just saw to Jaden Drake.
Yeah, great blocking downfield. You got Dalen Jones down there leading the way and others for the Enterprise Wolves. Phillips brings the play in from the sideline. 7:40 left in the third. 21 for the Beavers. No score yet for the Wolves, but the Wolves on the march at their own 47, 48-yard line. Phillips will hand off to Bracken. Bracken on the right side. He's hit immediately and will either gain 0 or -1 on that rush.
Yeah, it looks like he lost about a half of a yard there on the carry. He tried to cut to come back inside, and I think he lost his footing as he did because Beaver had that one stuffed in a hurry. Yeah, lost his footing there, but Radden again was right there to make the play. Hollingshead was coming up. It was that play was dead in its tracks.
Yeah, Radden had a beat on that outside edge. So a third down and 6 for Enterprise. There's Phillips again, double wing under center, and he will hand off to Drake around the left side. Drake shakes off a tackle, has a nice lane. First down yardage across the 50 to the 45-yard line.
Cole Moody with a big block for Enterprise to be able to allow him to get the first down yardage right there on the edge. He had to break the initial arm tackle, did Jaden Drake, but then he got the block from Moody to pick up the first down.
Yeah, nice job. Also downfield, Cole Moody did it. He took Blackburn right out of the play. Good call, Robert. Ball's at the Beaver 45 now. First down and 10. 6:33 left in the third. Enterprise desperately needing to score, down 21-0. Phillips hands off to Bracken. Bracken makes a nice cut at the line of scrimmage. Gains 9.
And it looks like to me the backs for Enterprise are running with a little more pep in their step right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I think some momentum, maybe some desperation, and the backs are responding. And so is the offensive line. As you can see, the offensive line is starting to create some space. We talked about the potential effect of that size over the course of a game, wearing down a defensive line.
Yeah, we definitely saw that last week.
2nd down and 1. Phillips to Bracken. Bracken with a big hole. Again, will get a first down. Big chunks of yardage for the Wolves down to the 26.
Yeah, and just as you said it, they're starting to open holes up bigger and bigger. Again, I think the backs are hitting them a little harder this half than we saw in the first half, especially Kyron Bracken as he is starting to get big chunks of yardage.
So the ball's on the Beaver side of the field at the 31-yard line. Clock running, 5:40 left in the third. Split out to the right for the Wolves. Double wing. Now motion for Drake. Handoff on that left side. And there's Bracken pushing forward. The pile moves forward 5-6 yards.
Yeah, they're just getting pushed.
Yeah. Getting a good push. And what the Wolves do is they line that up. They bring their players in motion. Then everyone goes into the hole. And just it's almost like a wedge on that left side as they bring Drake and everyone else. And they just all push forward.
11 carries for 37 yards now for Bracken, but 5 of those carries in this second half for 33 yards.
This drive started on their own 20. Now they're on the Beaver 20. Red zone time for the Wolves. Here's Phillips. And now the Beavers might have given the Wolves a first down. It is on the Beavers. So it'll be 1st down and 10 inside the red zone.
And Braden Evans saw the man go in motion, and he got a little anxious there to come across. He knew it immediately, but you'll forgive him for that one.
You will. You will. Clock will run, 4:50 and counting. The ball is right at the 15-yard line. 1st down and 10. So the Wolves can get a first down inside the 10 at the 5. Elworth split to the right. I formation. Now we'll switch sides. Down to 3 on the clock. 2. And a timeout by the Wolves. I think that's a smart timeout. And that's a Tony and Dave's timeout. Your premier auto collision center in Beaver offers high-quality auto body and auto glass repair at pocket-friendly prices. Give them a call at 438-5409. We'll take it as well. And be back with more on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live, Channel V6, and ASL Sports.
Special thanks to Channel V6 and these additional sponsors for making state football live coverage possible. Kings Peak Credit Union, Larson Haslam Dental in Roosevelt, Zions Bank, Chuck's Meat, Freedom Realty, Al's Food Town, and Gateway Sinclair in Duchesne.
Live high school sports action on Centracom Channel 10, V6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
The senior laden Enterprise Wolves with an impressive drive as they do call a timeout, just some confusion on the play formation. And they have a 1st down and 10. Ball's at the 15, down 21-0 at a critical time in the game.
I'm just looking at the Utah score, down 10-7 to Washington. Bryson Barnes playing well right now.
Wow. We're always rooting for Bryson Barnes. Here's your 1st down to Bracken. Bracken hit immediately, spins out, and he's going to gain 3 or 4. That was a great job by Bracken.
Gage Radden, they brought him up so timely. Have the Beaver coaching staff, Coach Hutchings on that defensive side, they brought him up at perfect times. He was there again, but this time Bracken's able to escape his grasp.
So a 2nd down and 6. We talked a little bit off air that with 4 minutes left, this drive already, consuming part of that clock the Enterprise Wolves need, down 21-0.
Yeah, they've already taken up there, closing in on 6 minutes.
Here we go. Phillips under center, 2nd down and 8. Handoff up the middle. That's Gardner. And not much there. It gets the ball down to the 10. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Yeah, that one really had nowhere to go from the onset of it. You could see it based on how they were lined up that it was going to be tough to gain any yards on the dime of the middle.
Yeah, great penetration by the Beavers. Lopshire in there. And Hafen. 3rd down and 5. 3:30. The clock continues to run. Ball's now on the 11.
Yeah, I thought he got to the 10, but they ended up spotting it at the 11.
Yeah, it was back. It's a bad loss of 1. 3rd and 6. Handoff on the left side. Here's Drake hit as he's able to shake the tackle inside the 5. And that will be 1st and goal for the Enterprise Wolves.
Yeah, that was a very interesting. I think, was it Evans that got in the backfield there? It looked like Evans was going to be able to follow the quarterback and try to make a play there initially. No, it wasn't Evans. It was Lopshire.
It was Lopshire.
But because he ended up getting blocked a little bit longer and made it so he was in position to almost make a play, Drake able to get around him and then lowered the shoulder over Blackburn to pick up the 1st down.
So the Enterprise Wolves with momentum. Clock stopped at 3:12. 1st and goal at the 4. Handoff up the middle. That one's going to be Drake, and he's hit immediately. And he'll gain maybe a gain of 1 on the play.
Yeah, both sides felt that one. Drake felt it, and I'm not sure who he hit, but he felt it as well. Hollingshead was there, and Gale. They both felt it too. It was everybody hit hard on that one.
Drake had a full head of steam, and he might lack the size, but he had the power on the run. Again, the clock continues to run, 2:44. And the Wolves with a 2nd and goal from the 3. Gardner in the backfield with Phillips. Heavy on the right side with Drake and Bracken. They go right up the middle. Nothing there. Hollingshead, Hafen, and Moore on the tackle. Third and goal.
Just a 2-yard pickup for Gardner. Hollingshead did a good job of knifing through there and being able to grab the legs of Gardner. Gardner able to fall forward to get it to the 1.
There we go. 3rd and goal from the 1. Oh, there's going to be a false start. Huge problem for the Enterprise Wolves, as they were just going to go right up the middle, and now it'll be 3rd and 6. 3rd and goal from the 6.
Yeah, they went to tempo on that one, and Gardner just started sneaking up too early.
Tough break for the Enterprise Wolves now with a 3rd and 6 in 4-down territory, and more importantly, more time off the clock, down to 2:05 left in the 3rd.
Just a second penalty on Enterprise for 10 yards, 4 on Beaver for 30 in this game, so penalties really haven't been much of a factor.
No, it's been a pretty clean game, 154 and counting. Here's the 3rd and goal play from the 6.
This penalty, however, could be a big factor.
It certainly could. Motion for Bracken. Now it's going to be a pass. Phillips goes over, looking inside the end zone. Has in the back, and going to go out of the hands of the receiver. 4th and goal coming.
Yeah, Jaden Drake, he had him open. Drake downfield, you could tell he didn't like his body positioning from the very beginning, and he didn't like it, but he couldn't really figure out how to change that either, as he kind of went through a defensive player, Hollingshead there, and just body wasn't where he wanted it to be.
Yeah, his motion, that was a great call. His motion was all to the left. He had to come back to the right. Couldn't quite get it done. There's a 4th down and goal from the 6 now. And again, that penalty looms large.
Yes.
Phillips in the shotgun with Gardner in the backfield. Phillips rolls to the left, has the ball. Can he get in the touchdown? He does. Phillips with a big score on 4th and goal.
Big credit right there to Riker Phillips. Moises Betancourt was there on the block at receiver. He was making that block, but Phillips, the junior quarterback, wasn't going to be denied the end zone. As soon as he turned that corner, he saw Betancourt had the block, dove in against 2 Beavers and made it in.
Yeah, Blackburn and Robinson unable to stop Riker Phillips. He scores, gives Enterprise new life at the 1:35 mark. And here's the extra point coming up for number 10, Daniel Rivera. Snap is back, and the kick is up and blocked, but I still think, no, it goes off to the right side, and it'll say 21-6.
Yeah, that was big. Those extra points can be hard to come by when you need them later on.
They certainly can. So the Enterprise Wolves start with the ball on their own 20 at 9:32. 8 minutes off the clock for that drive. And sometimes you talk about, the defense allows a team to score, but 8 minutes off the clock, that might be a win for the defense.
Yeah, they did a great job of not allowing them to get big plays. Enterprise put together a solid drive. That was the drive they needed to start the 3rd quarter, not the drive they needed it to end the 3rd quarter.
Right, so then the Enterprise Wolves will have a chance. They're on the scoreboard, 21-6 our score. With 1:35 left in the 3rd, your championship game between the Beavers and the Wolves. That's a Beaver Medical Clinic score update. Beaver Medical Clinic located in Milford, Parowan, and Beaver. One champion already crowned today. That, of course, was
the Rich Rebels. Yeah, they looked really good. And they had that's a team with a lot of players on it. And, of course, they played in the 11-man league in Wyoming all season long. They played 3 8-man games to start the season. Then all the rest of their games were 11-man games in Wyoming.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, and they just, they're kind of the bye week game for that league in Wyoming. And so they hadn't played an 8-man game again until last week.
And then here they are, the state champions.
Yeah.
So this one, right now the Beavers up 21-6. We've got the 2A championship between San Juan and South Summit coming up next, followed by a thriller with Richfield and Manti. Here's a kick on the left side. That one's going to go out of bounds. So the Beavers will have good field position to start this drive. This drive is critical for both teams. The Beavers score, likely out of range. If Enterprise is able to hold, their chances remain.
Yeah, I think what they were trying to do there, Beaver obviously had the hands team out there expecting the possibility of an onside kick, just one player back and deep. Enterprise was trying to drop that into that dead zone where there's nobody at and then just race everybody to the football, and instead they just kicked it out of bounds.
We've seen the dead zone come into play. Matter of fact, in the 8-man game, there was a dead zone play that I'm not sure which team got lucky. I think it was Rich got a little bit lucky because there was a dead zone kick where it just lands in the wrong spot.
Yes.
So minute 35 left in the third. The Beavers with their own fate in their hands with this drive. There's Wheatley up under center. They start at the 35, as mentioned. Handoff. Nope. Wheatley keeps himself. He'll cut up. Makes a wise decision. Bodie Wheatley for 8.
Another really good decision by Bodie Wheatley. He hasn't had to make a lot of decisions like that so far today, but when he has, he's made the right one every time. Yeah, Bracken just sitting there waiting for the pitch, and Wheatley reads the right player and does a great job. 2nd down and 1. Clock running at 1:13. The clock coming into play huge now with the Beavers leading 21-6 in this championship matchup. It's definitely not over. There's chances all over the place. Here's Wheatley. Wheatley will hand off to Gale up the middle. Gale stuffed, spins around, dives forward, and I think he's going to be short of the 1st down. Yeah, just barely short. It looked like he was going to lose be about a yard shy, but able to spin out of it and get another half a yard before being brought down. Yeah, hit by number 73, Easton Watkins, then spun around, driven back by Parker Holt. And it's 3rd down and 1. This is an enormous play for the Enterprise Wolves. Yeah. They need to stop this one. 28 seconds left in the 3rd. Here's a handoff. This one to Gale. Gale forward, spins around. 1st down, spins again. And a Mike Spoontown 1st down for the Beavers. Yeah, a couple of spins there for Tate Gale, and he's able to pick up enough for 1st down yardage as the Beavers move the chains. And so now the clock will continue to run 18 seconds. I don't think the Beavers will run a play on this one, as they're content to run some more time off the clock. They lead 21-6 on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard, providing high-quality health care at a community hospital price at Beaver Valley Hospital. That'll do it. 3 down, 1 to go in the championship, with Beavers leading 21-6 on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live, Channel V6, all in partnership with KSL Sports.
I'm Dr. Winters, a general dentist in Richfield. I invite you to take advantage of our 20 years of experience when it's time to get your wisdom teeth out.
We offer IV sedation so you can sleep through the procedure. We are right here in Richfield, so we are close by for all your pre- and post-operative needs. We strive to make the process comfortable, easy, and affordable. Visit wintersdental.com/wisdomteeth or call or text 435-896-6444.
From commercial to recreational truck accessories, Mountain Land Truck Outfitters has got what you need. Flatbeds, spray and bed liners, lifts and leveling kits, wheels and tires. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters proudly uses a brand you know and trust. And with our experienced, knowledgeable, and friendly staff, your visit here will be informative and enjoyable. Stop into our convenient location in Provo at 265 South 100 West or call 801-225-4637 to get a quote for your fleet or individual truck. Mountain Land Truck Outfitters.
Live high school sports action on Centracom Channel 10, V6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
4th quarter action in the 1A championship game. The Beavers with the ball, 1st and 10. Handoff up the middle, Gill. He'll break forward and gains 9, about 8 on 1st down. Man, he hit that hole hard. Tate Gale was ready coming out of that quarter break and picks up a good 7 yards down to the 45-yard line. Yep, 7 yards for the senior Tate Gale. He's been sensational all season long. This game absolutely still in question. You know, people might look at the score and say Beavers in charge. I think if they score, maybe that's the case. But it's still anybody's game. Here's Wheatley under center. Handoff. Nope. Keeps himself. Option on the right side. This is Blackner, and he's driven back for a loss of 1. Enterprise was ready for that option this time around. Wheatley was lucky to even get rid of the football as he was getting hit and dragged down, and then Blackner really made a nice catch as a result. You got to credit Dalen Jones also, as he hit Gale on the dive and then spun out to hit Wheatley, and he created the problems. And you can see Tavin Hollingshead on the sideline. I'm not sure. He might be stiffening up. Yeah, could be. You saw Blackner in at tailback. 3rd down and about 5. So the Beavers pull out of the playbook. Do they continue to burn clock, or do they go the pass? Here's Wheatley. Wheatley back to pass, rolling to his left, has a lot of lane and a wide open receiver in Cutler Mathis in the 30 to 25. breaks a tackle inside the 10, keeps his feet moving inside the 5. It's 1st and goal, Beaver High School.
Yeah, Cutler Matheson was wide open coming out of that crossing route, that deep crossing route, and there was nobody around him, and he easily gets downfield.
The Beavers in tempo. Here is Wheatley. He'll hand off to Blackner around the right side, and he's got the angle, breaks a tackle, and a touchdown for Blackner.
Blackner would not be denied on that one, and as you said it, that definitely, Beaver was already in control. This puts them securely in control with 10.5 to go.
You have to go back to that last play with Matheson. You got to ask the coaching staff, why pass? You're trying to burn clock, why pass? That's why.
Yeah.
So all the second guessers out there, that's exactly why you do it, and they put it in the hands of their senior Cutler Matheson, and then as the sub of the game nominee, Deegan Blackner he broke 2 tackles to get that touchdown. How many yards was it?
5-yard touchdown.
5 yards. Mesqua back with the extra point. The Beavers leading 27-6. Snap is high, the kick is up, and it is good. 28-6. The Beavers with a statement drive, and this one it puts a lot of pressure on the Enterprise Wolves.
Yeah, big-time pressure on the Wolves now, because now not only do they have to score, but now they've got to score. You're looking at probably 2 minutes or less.
Again, we're going to call Timberline Restaurant sub of the game. Enjoy tantalized dishes from the finest chefs in southern Utah. On the South Interchange is the Timberline Restaurant. They've also got mobile catering. We use them all the time. Great food, great people, great products. Mobile pizza oven. They do a great job. They actually catered our Halloween party, and it was phenomenal. It's really good.
They're always phenomenal.
It's kind of embarrassing that we have a Halloween party.
Do you all dress up? That's the question.
Oh, you have no idea.
What are you?
The whole house.
What are you?
I was the sheriff.
The sheriff, all right.
Yeah, I was the sheriff. A live sheriff this time. Usually I'm a dead sheriff, but this time I was alive.
All right.
So, hey, a big shout out to all those watching on TeamHive.live and listening on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, as I've received lots of tests from people. Bill Carter, a faithful listener and one of my favorite guys, always there on TeamHive.live and listening in on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network. Here's the kickoff. The Beavers leading 28-6. Here's a Mesqua. This one's returnable, and it's going to go to Strong, I believe. Across the 20, has an angle, and he'll get taken down. Nice return to the 30.
Yeah, good return by Devin Strong to be able to get Enterprise a little better field position than they've been getting as they've been on the 20 the last 3 drives. This time they start on the 30.
So now Enterprise will have to open the playbook, and not a passing team, but one long drive will end this game for the Enterprise Wolves. So really, even though that might be the bread and butter, now forced out of their comfort zone for sure.
Yeah, they've got to go to a 2-minute offense at this point.
So down by 22, 28-6. The Beavers looking for their 14th state championship. Here's Phillips. Phillips, hit, and a beautiful play. Who? Gage Radden.
Gage Radden.
This is exactly what you talked about before, is that Gage Radden, right place, right time, right play call. And Gardner had no chance to get going at all. So 2nd down and 11. Clock continues to run at 10 minutes. An interesting note about this senior team for the Beavers, played in championship games all 4 years they've played.
Yeah. Here's
Phillips back to pass, has a pass out, complete to Drake. Drake, good speed, and he'll go down at about the 40-yard line. Near a first down, it all depends on the spot. I think he has it.
Yeah, they're going to put it right on the 40, which because the drive started right on the 30, if it's going to touch the line, it will be a first down, and that's what they get. Good pass from Phillips, and Drake able to get some separation to get downfield.
Yeah, Drake does not get out of bounds, however. The clock continues to run. 9:30 left in this one.
That's his first pass completion this game. 1 for 3.
Yeah, and he is really the primary receiver by far for the Wolves, and it was devastating last week. Here's a handoff. This one's going to go to Drake as well, and a gain of about 1.
Yeah, not much there on that left side as Drake picks up just a gain of a yard. He's now got 47 yards on 10 carries in the game.
Hollingshead steps off the field as the defensive back, and Blackner will come in for him as well. I'm guessing Hollingshead. I'm guessing he's tightening up after the injury.
He had a big touchdown play.
Oh, he did.
In the second half.
He looked great on that touchdown play. 9 minutes left in this game. 28-6. 2nd down and 9. Phillips back to pass. Has good protection. The pass is up, and it's going to be complete. Beautiful pass to Aylworth.
Great catch by Elworth as well. It looked like it was almost underthrown. Radden looked like he was in position. And sometimes for a receiver, that can be harder because you're almost anticipating a tip. And the tip didn't come. Elworth made a great catch.
How about the junior Riker Phillips out of his comfort zone, doing well. It's in Beaver territory at the 31. Clock running at 8:35 left in the game. Gardner in the backfield with Phillips. Phillips will hand off. This one's going to be to Drake. Drake finding a wall of blockers. Oh, Drake cut up. I think he had the outside. And Cole Moody leading the charge. Should have kept that edge, I believe.
Yeah, it looked like Moody was anticipating it, wanting him to come outside, and so let that one go. And then as a result, Drake gets brought down after a gain of 1.
Yeah, I think Bracken and Moody thought that was going to the outside, so they let the player go, and a gain of 1. 8 minutes left in the game. Gardner in the backfield with Phillips. Gardner takes the handoff up the middle, gain of about 5 or 6. It'll be third down and about 4. I think that's a good idea to keep the Beavers, honest, but it's going to have to be quickly done.
Yeah, because now you're approaching 3 minutes on this drive, and you've still got to get 2 more drives and 2 stops in the process.
That's correct. 25-yard line is where the Wolves are, nearing the red zone at the 7:27 mark of the game. I formation, Gardner and Bracken. And a handoff to Gardner. Gardner is not going to get anything hit at the line of scrimmage and brought backwards, 4th down.
Yeah, nowhere to go on that one. And again, I agree with you. Keep them honest, but at the same time, you've still got to get the playbook open. And back-to-back dives makes it tough.
Yeah, you really do. He had no chance whatsoever. And there's Hafen and Hollingshead, one other player in on that one. That was blown up at the first. The Wolves with 2 timeouts, the Beavers with 3. The play clock already down to 18. It's a huge down with 4th down. You can't hurry it, but still a lot of time ticking off that clock. The play clock down to 8. Phillips under center. Huge play for the Wolves. They have to convert. And there's going to be a flag on the play, and the Wolves go back 5 more yards.
Yep. Just took a step back with that right foot on the right side of the line.
Well, and you think about it, the play didn't get in soon. Everyone's feeling the pressure of having to get that play off, and that's where you get your false starts. Because players know, we're close on this one, and that creates that anticipation.
Give you another quick score update for you with that Utah-Washington game. Beaver Medical Clinic score update. Bryson Barnes just threw a touchdown pass. He's now 8 for 11 for 96 yards in that touchdown, and Utah leads 14-10.
Well, I think all of Southern Utah rooting for Bryson Barnes. We'll keep track of that one. There's a 4th down and 9 for the Wolves, and there's going to be a flag on the play. The Wolves shoot themselves in the foot. Not only is that, but the clock continues to run on each of these penalties.
Yeah.
So now the playbook back to a 4th down and 14. The Wolves in a must-convert situation, down 28-6 to the Beaver High School Beavers. Clock runs now with 6:10. Players over on the sideline taking the play call. Play clock down to 16. Still nobody in the huddle.
Riker Phillips now come in from the sideline with the call.
Yeah, the Wolves will have to hurry. Down to 5 on the play clock. Elworth out to the right. Down to 3-2. Phillips. He's not going to get this off. And they will not get the play off, and I believe that'll be another false start or a delay of game. And the wheels falling off the bus right now for the Wolves with penalties. That's 3 straight penalties, Robert.
Yeah. They're going to go with the false start on that one.
Yeah. It might have been a spontaneous. But it's 2 of them. So now 4th down and 20. The Wolves have to get it across the 20-yard line. Beavers drop back extra defenders. They will rush 2, maybe 3.
And something's wrong with the alignment, and so Coach Messersmith now has to use a timeout.
We'll take it as well. Tony and Dave's timeout. We'll be back. 5:33 left in the 4th. 28-6 Beaver on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network. TeamHive.live, Channel V6 in partnership with KSL Sports.
Vince Lombardi once said, "The measure of who we are is what we do with what we have." The quote rings true whether applied to our country, our schools, our homes, or on the field of play. We applaud our student athletes for their hard work and determination on the field and in the classroom. Brought to you by Sunrise Engineering, promoting excellence in sports and education. Visit us at sunrise-eng.com. That's sunrise-eng.com.
Live high school sports action on Centracom Channel 10, B6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
Saw a nice ad from Sunrise Engineering, our post-game sponsor. Big thanks to them. 4th down and 20, a must convert for the Wolves. Phillips in the shotgun. Phillips back to pass. Here comes some pressure from the Beavers. On the backside, and Evans, and the Beavers will take down Phillips, and they will likely take the ball game on that play. Titan Hunter also on the sack.
Yeah, he had no idea Braden Evans was closing in from behind. And Beaver, not only did they get pressure, but they also had good coverage downfield.
Yeah.
And it just made an impossible play for Riker Phillips.
Yeah, one thing lost in this is the defensive pass coverage by the Beavers. You've got Baylor Blackburn leading the state in interceptions, Tavin Hollingshead right behind. It's been a daunting defensive backfield for the Beavers all season long. 21 interceptions on the season. Here's the Beavers. Bodie Wheatley, hands off to Gale. Gale hit immediately. Cale Day and others, no gain.
Both these teams we were just talking about, each with 15 seniors on their team.
Yeah, Easton Watkins actually comes from the side and gets Gale, but 15 seniors and super talented seniors. These are you've on the Enterprise side of the ball, you've got Gardner and Bracken, Drake, Hyatt is a junior, Christensen, Holton, Watkins, all seniors. An amazing class. We'll cover the Beavers shortly. Clock running, 4:48. Beavers deep into the play clock. And here's Wheatley. Quick pitch out. Wow, that was dangerous. Here's Hollingshead across the 50, and he will go out of bounds to the 45, but a flag on the play will likely bring that one back. And that was, watch this replay, Robert. That was almost a pick pitch.
Yeah, Devin Strong trying to make a play any way he can. In fact, he got tackled by Gage Radden.
Gage Radden, yeah.
You could have called a hold there.
Let's see if we can see this one more time after we get finished. But you watch this. If Radden doesn't get this block, Strong may be going to the house.
Yeah. There is a hold downfield, but there could have been that hold. I didn't notice that how Radden pulled him down the first time.
It was Strong had a bead on that one. So the Beavers with the hold will go back down to second down to 15 now. Clock running, 4:35 and counting in the championship game. Beavers have 22 seconds on the play clock. They do what's called a muddle huddle. They stay in formation and then try to disguise. I'm not sure it's too useful at this point, as I'm sure it's a steady diet of run.
Yes.
Of course, I say that. Here we go. So there's a handoff. This is going to be Wheatley with the option out to Hollingshead. Hollingshead hits the corner and goes down hard, inbounds. Smart move by the senior.
Yeah, really nice play. Gardner with the tackle on that one. Wheatley held onto the ball just the right amount of time because Kyron Bracken was there to take the pitch man, the running back Hollingshead. But Wheatley held onto it long enough to allow Hollingshead to get just enough outside that Bracken couldn't get him.
Hollingshead will make his way to the sideline, and he'll be replaced, I think, by Radden and Blackner. 3:43 left. The Beavers looking to return back to championship form. They won 2 in a row 2 years ago, and then lost to San Juan in 2 consecutive state championship games, looking to get back in the championship category. Here's Wheatley rolling to his left, and there's a flag on the play, and then Wheatley will just go down, and I believe that'll be in the neighborhood. If I were the Enterprise Wolves, I'd decline this and just take the result of the play.
Yeah, take the 4 down. It's going to be a loss of 2 or 3 yards as it is.
Well, and if you take it, then it's another 40 seconds off the clock. So we'll see what the call is. Beavers have played, with the exception of this last little bit, have been mistake-free on the penalty categories. They had 1 personal foul face mask. Other than that, not too many.
Yeah, they've had 3 5-yard penalties and then that hold on the last play.
Yeah, and no drive stoppers. They had the one false start, but didn't stop the touchdown.
Yep.
So here's
lots
the call.
Of discussion.
Yeah, there is a lot of discussion. So they do decline that penalty. So now 4th down for the Beavers. I'm guessing punt formation as Luke Robinson steps back on the field. 28-6 our score on the Beaver Valley Hospital scoreboard. 3:18 left in this one. The Beavers look to have this one in hand. So I think you see Drake or Strong drop back. And the Beavers looks like they're going to take a timeout. There's nothing happening. Down to 5 on the play clock, 3 minutes on the game clock. And here is the timeout. We'll take it as well. A Tony and Dave's timeout. We'll be back on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live, Channel V6, and of course, KSL Sports.
Zions Bank is celebrating 150 years in our community. Whether you're looking to open a new account or save for the future, their bankers are ready to help you right now or when it's convenient for you. Now more than ever, Zions Bank is for you.
The living room. It's a great place to watch TV. Just like your backyard, break time at the office, or while on the go. Now you can watch TV everywhere. Call or visit Centracom.com to learn more.
Live high school sports action on Centracom Channel 10, V6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
Welcome back, Scott Langford, Robert Lovell, and a big thanks to our crew. It takes a village to raise a broadcast, and it is a village. And I think, Robert, you have the names, but what a fantastic crew we have here at this championship game.
Yeah, we'll give them another shout out at the end, too, that's for sure.
Pump formation for the Beavers. And here's Luke Robinson. Back will be Drake, I believe. Here's a kick by Robinson. Keeps it low, bounces, and picked up at the 31. And immediately the Beavers there to cover. And that's for the Beavers. It will be the Wolves ball at the 35 with 2:46 left.
Yeah, so for Enterprise at this point, you're playing for pride, I guess. You're not going to be able to score 3 touchdowns in 2.5 minutes, but you're playing for pride. You're playing to say, hey, this is our last time to wear these uniforms for those 15 seniors.
Well, 2:46 left. The Enterprise Wolves have had an exceptional season so far with losses only to the top teams. I mean, they've been spotless otherwise. Here's Phillips in the shotgun. Quick pitch out. This one will go to Bracken. Nope, Gardner. And he gets back to the line of scrimmage. Gale and Hollingshead on the tackle.
Yeah, kind of lost his footing once he caught the pitch as he tried to come upfield and really had nowhere to go as Tate Gale easily brought him down.
Yep, Tate Gale with the tackle. 2:27. Clock continues to run. Again, games coming up. You've got San Juan, South Summit following this game, and then Richfield and Manti, which should be a dandy of a game.
Yeah.
Make sure you tune in and watch that one. Should be fantastic. The San Juan game, we'll see. 2nd down and 10. Back to passes, Phillips. Phillips under some heavy pressure. Sidesteps Hafen. He'll go across the 40 out of bounds, and it'll be 3rd down. Clock will run. Nope, they will stop it.
Good tackle on that far side of the field by Titan Hunter, the sophomore.
Hunter, the son of Coach Randy Hunter, who was the last coach to coach the Wolves to a championship game.
And only.
And only championship game.
Yes.
Yeah. So on the sideline for the Beavers this time. Beavers coach Steve Hutchings calls the defensive play. Clock stopped at 1:57 left in the game. 10 seconds on the play clock. And a timeout will be called. We'll keep it here. Let's talk a little bit about Richfield Richfield Manti. Everybody, it was Richfield Canyon View and Manti, the top 3 all season long.
And Morgan.
Yeah. And so this one's a lot of fun. One of these teams, Richfield, it's been a long time, and Manti as well. This is a lot of fun to see those 2 Central Utah teams back in the championship.
Well, and it's been a lot of years since it hasn't been Juab, Morgan, or Grantsville.
It's true.
And then before that, Juan Diego.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's been a long time since it's been somebody else in that 3A classification with a chance to win this. And so it's a great matchup. You've got phenomenal players on both sides. Richfield hasn't won a football state title since '84. Haven't played for a state title since '88. And for Manti, it's a lot more recent. They haven't played for one since 2014, haven't won one since 2012. So, great matchup.
On that Richfield team, you have cousins on the Beaver team. So you've got Hafens and Yardleys on the Beaver team, and Hafens and Yardleys on that Richfield team. So it's a kind of an interesting connection there. So that game's at 7 o'clock tonight, and should be an amazing game. 3rd down and 8 for the Wolves. 1:57 left in the game. I formation with Phillips under center. Heavy on the left side. Got Elworth playing the tackle position. On the left side, here's a halfback pass. Gardner with a left-handed pass, knocked down by Matheson.
Man, he tried to just throw a missile down the field, and Matheson able to knock that one away.
Yeah, nice left-handed swing by Gardner. Almost got it through there. Matheson with a really great play on the side. So 4th down, clock stopped at 1:52. Back on the field will come the Enterprise Wolves.
Again, takes a while to get that play in, which by the time they get it called, they don't have a lot of time to make the ball snapped.
Yep. 5 on the play clock, now 3. Here's Phillips. He'll take the snap and the shotgun. Looking to his right, under some pressure, has to step up and will go down, and that'll do it as the Beavers take Gill with the tackle.
Yeah, big tackle there by Gill. Riker Phillips doing everything he could to try to keep that play alive, but he gets brought down hard, and he's going to go back down to the turf, in fact, as he took a shot on the play.
Yeah, Langston and Hunter try to help him up. They kind of lift him up, and then he says, oh, no, I need a minute longer. So hopefully Riker Phillips is okay. He took a shot. Watch this on the replay for those of you online.
And he tried to deliver the blow in the process. He was trying to do any way he could to try to keep that play going.
Yeah, it was just a tough shot by Galen Evans. And Phillips stays down on the ground. We'll just keep an eye on him. We'll keep it here for just a minute. With 1:46 left, the Beavers will be your 1A state champions. Of course, they've played in the 2A classification for years. It is their first foray back into the 1A classification.
Right.
Enterprise and Beaver, very similar in size. There's been 3 or 4 students with size of schools. So they're right in the middle of the 1A classification. And Phillips up and will be helped off the field. The junior's done a great job. Now the Beavers will take over on downs. And so a couple snaps for the Beavers. Bodie Wheatley will come out. Hollingshead back out on the field. The senior says, I'm not taking a break.
That's right.
And it is a victory formation, so he won't take any more rushes.
Enterprise only has the 1 timeout. They're down 3 scores. And so they'll go ahead and just let them take that knee.
I think one thing I've liked about this game, Robert, a really clean game on the field as far as the players go. Lots of sportsmanship, no cheap stuff at all. All I've seen is just good, hard-nosed football, as you would expect from these 2 schools, both with really great coaching staffs.
Yeah, great kids, great coaches.
So 1:22, the Beavers a couple snaps away from their 14th state championship. So in there, they've had a run where they've played in 8 of 9 championship games, and so this will even the record at 4 wins. Let's see, I'm going to have to do my math on that one. I'll have to check that one out. So don't take that one for granted yet. It's another snap.
So they won 15, right? Won 16, lost 17.
Yep.
To South Summit. 18, they weren't in it. That was South Summit and Grandin 18, right?
Correct. Yep, they lost the semi to Grand. Then they took first twice.
Beat Milford, beat Duchesne before losing 2 to San Juan.
So the Beavers will take another championship, and here it goes, the last snap of the game. And you can see Matheson, Gale, Hollingshead, the big 3, as well as the other, awesome players for the Beaver High School Beavers. And the Beaver High School Beavers will be your 2023 1A state championships. John Marshall gets the ice bath on the sideline, and the Beavers, they had to come from behind to get that number 1 seed at the end of the season, and it made a huge difference for the Beavers.
It did in some sense of the word, but then Kanab still gave them everything they could handle last week.
They had to play the Kanab Cowboys.
And so it was there was not an easy road in 1A. 1A had a lot of depth to it, and it looked like it was just those 3 teams. But you knew Kanab, if they were healthy and if they were that they could give anybody a game.
Well, and a lot of parity too. What you saw is a lot of teams that really had that chance to win this. But the Beavers take this one 28-6 with a convincing win against the Enterprise Wolves, and the Beavers state champs back to the championship for the Beavers. This is the Sunrise Engineering post game. Promoting athletic and academic excellence, Sunrise Engineering, visit sunrise-eng.com. The Beavers do some tumbling out on the field, as you can see. Cutler Matheson, Evans, and Gage Radden all doing a back handspring to celebrate the win. But I want to give some credit to the Enterprise Wolves. They have had an exceptional year, a senior-laden team, and incredibly talented group of players from the Enterprise.
Yeah, they were hoping to get to the championship last year, losing to Kanab in the semifinals after going undefeated up until that point.
Right.
And this year they're able to get into this state championship game and fall short against a very good Beaver team, but certainly a very good Enterprise team and had a great season as well.
Well, and then let's talk about some of the seniors this team will lose. Braden Gardner, Daniel Rivera, Kyron Bracken, Jaden Drake, Caden Elworth, Dalen Jones, Bryce Christian, Parker Holt, Easton Watkins, Cale Day. That is a very talented group, and they've had a lot of success here at Enterprise High School.
Yes, they have. And it was a group they felt like could get to this point, and they had a chance to win it, and they got here as close as you could without winning it, and had a heck of a season, heck of a career for those seniors, because they've been doing it since they were sophomores, really.
Yeah.
They've been a lot of them have been the key cogs in this Enterprise team.
Now on the field you can see the USHA will give the second place trophy to the Enterprise Wolves. And a big congratulations to them. Big hand. If you look at the crowd, what a huge crowd here in support. This stadium is right between Beaver and Enterprise.
Yeah.
So both teams have almost exactly the same drive, and there it is, as Enterprise will receive that second place trophy. And the Beavers now will take the gold trophy home. Cutler Matheson out to pick it up for the Beavers, and the Beavers. We talked about this senior group of kids. And they have dominated in tackle football starts in Beaver in 6th grade. This team has played for championship every single year from 6th grade, and this is the 4th championship they've taken among those. 2 in the high school level, 2 in the Pee Wee leagues, and this team has played for state now 4 consecutive times in 2A, and then now in 1A. So 3 times in 2A, and they're 2-2 in those games. So congratulations to Beaver High School Beavers.
Quite a run, that's for sure.
It certainly is. Well, we will take a short break on the Sunrise Engineering postgame. Promoting athletic and academic excellence, Sunrise Engineering. Visit us at sunrise-eng.com. And when we come back, we'll take a look at some stats and some highlights from this game. All this and more on the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network, TeamHive.live, Channel V6, in partnership with KSL Sports.
With Chevy Silverado and Silverado HD, you can take on the mountains, or you can move them. With the power of up to 36,000 pounds of max available towing and the confidence of an available 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen. Whatever your mountain, there's a Silverado for you. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all Silverado 1500 pickups. Plus, get $750 cash allowance on this Silverado. Ski Chevy, now at your Rocky Mountain Chevy dealers.
Are you a new CDL license holder? If so, Barney Trucking would like to train and pay you to become a world-class truck driver on state-of-the-art equipment. They also provide you with reliable, courteous support, a fantastic wage, paid holidays, solid benefits, home daily schedules, paid time off, an excellent safety record, and respect. Dependable truck drivers have been Barney Trucking's #1 investment since 1947. Start your outstanding career by applying today at barneyjobs.com. barneyjobs.com.
This school year will be different.
This year, I'll do my assignments on time.
I will listen to my teacher.
I solemnly swear.
We won't eat any glue.
I'll do my homework every night.
Every night.
Research? No problem. School? I got this.
This year will be different. Visit Centricom.com to power your education with the best internet experience. Everyone succeeds with School to the Power of Centricom.
Live high school sports action on Centricom Channel 10, B6 Media, and the Mid-Utah Radio Sports Network.
Welcome back. The Beaver High School Beavers, your 1A state championship team with a 28-6 win over the Enterprise Wolves. And it was Robert, what a great game. It was 14-0 at half. Enterprise hung around and they stayed in it and just couldn't quite get over the hump. Got to give some credit. We've talked about Enterprise's defense, but got to give some credit to the Beaver defense. They really did not ever really allow Enterprise to uncork any long plays and then force them into long drives, which was a tough thing.
Yeah, that's what Enterprise's offense is built to do. It's just built to be able to be in a one-score game or have the lead, and they never really were. And so it made it really tough for them to be able to stay in this game and to really have a great chance of coming back once they fell down those 2 scores late in the third quarter.
Yeah, let's cover some of the team stats and the stats in this one, Robert. I'll be interested to see how the rushing ends up.
I'm just you talked about big plays, and I just wanted to glance at these real quick. They had a 28-yard pass down in the fourth quarter. But other than that, their biggest play was a 15-yard run. I mean, Beavers defense did not allow Enterprise to get big chunks of yards.
And that, in order to come back, once the Beavers got out to that 14-0 play, they had to be able to have some big plays. And with the stopping of those big plays, it was over at that point.
So, let's look at those total offense. For Enterprise, 188 yards for Beaver, 258. Passing yards, 89 for Beaver, 39 for Enterprise. And then rushing yards, 169 for Beaver, 149 for Enterprise.
Yeah, really, both defenses played fairly well, to be honest. Not too bad on those stats.
Yeah, looking at some of the key conversions. Third down, Beaver, 6 of 10. Enterprise, 3 of 11, and then 2 of 6 on fourth down.
Yeah, and that's, and you can see those. If we talked about key plays of the game, let's go ahead and talk about that just a little bit. I think with the Farm Bureau Financial Service key plays, I would actually say that those 2 fourth downs in that first half really were devastating for the Wolves. I think it stopped momentum and gave the Beavers the opportunity to go up by 14.5.
Yeah, I would agree with you when they turned the ball over. That was that first drive because it looked like they were going to be able to get down there and score.
And respond.
And when they turned it over at that point, it certainly changed things.
Yeah, it did.
Looking at some of the individual numbers, first down for the Beavers, Tavin Hollingshead lead the way, 16 carries for 96 rushing yards and a touchdown. He also had in the receiving game, he had the 2 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown. So over 130 yards of total offense today for Hollingshead. Tate Gale, 10 carries for 53 yards. And then passing-wise, Bodie Wheatley, 5 of 6 for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. And those 2 touchdowns, one to Cutler Matheson and one to Tavin Hollingshead.
So you called it the first of the game. You said you felt like, how Bodie Wheatley played would determine the difference in this game. And I think that stat line tells you exactly that you were spot on.
He had a heck of a game. He made the right decisions. Coach Marshall said that. He's got to make the right decisions, and he did. In fact, I can't think of a time he made the wrong decision in this game. Whether it was passing or running the option, he was there to make the right decision.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think that was a great call.
So there's how the Beavers looked. And then offensively for the Wolves, Braden Gardner, 20 carries for 65 yards in the game. Jaden Drake, 11 for 53. Kyron Bracken, 12 for 40. And then Riker Phillips did have the 1 touchdown. He had 6 carries for -9 yards. Of course, he lost 24 on one play.
Not fair to the quarterback.
Right.
Yeah, he did.
And he was 2 for 4 passing for 39 yards in the game. Caden Elworth had that 1 catch for 28 yards. Their biggest play of the game for Enterprise as they fall here.
Yeah, a couple mistakes. Beavers with 14 points off turnovers, and the mountain was just too big for the Enterprise Wolves to climb. Let's take a look at players of the game, and this is pretty tough. State Farm Insurance Player of the Game, Brent Stapley sponsors the Players of the Game. 5451 438 5451. He's my agent, and he can be yours too. Brent Stapley, State Farm Insurance. If you're stuck in a state of falling behind, check out State Farm Insurance. And Robert, this is one, pick them. I think there's one clear player of the game that I would call, and I think you go ahead and highlight that, then I'll highlight some others.
Yeah, there are obviously guys we can look at. We just talked about how big of a game Bodie Wheatley had, but I think Tavin Hollingshead was that player of the game, and I wanted to see how he responded. He didn't play real well last week. A couple of fumbles that Kanab recovered. He looked very good today. He took a shot on that leg whip that you talked about a lot, and it came back. It played through some stiffness, through some pain, and
scored a touchdown.
Yeah, scored a touchdown after that, but 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving in this game. Played well on defense. Yeah, so we're going Tavin Hollingshead, that player of the game.
Yeah, big thanks State Farm Insurance. He'll receive a certificate for that, and big thanks to them. And congratulations to Tavin Hollingshead. On the Timberline Restaurant sub of the game, I think we're going to branch out just a little bit on this one, because I think Bodie Wheatley is going to be one of our other players of the game. We're just going to call it a player of the game.
Yep.
Bodie Wheatley played fantastic, as mentioned. Tate Gale, also a player of the game.
Yep.
Cutler Matheson. We didn't call Matheson a whole lot. He had the touchdown pass, but they ran away from Cutler Matheson because of what a talent he is.
Right.
And defensively, he is just a monster in the middle and doesn't allow a whole lot. I'm not sure how many tackles he ended up with, but it was a significant amount. You could also call other players of the game as well. You've got the offensive line did a great job. Outmanned, Coach Marshall said in the pregame, this team outmanned every single week by size, but definitely they played well. Kelton Langston on the defensive side was fantastic with a couple big plays. So I'm not sure. I think the other seniors all will also. I'm going to just say the Timberline Restaurant Players of the Game will be the rest of the seniors, and then throw in Bodie Wheatley. You can't miss Gage Radden either, though.
Right, yeah. Gage Radden, Deegan Blackner. I mean,
Deegan Blackner was great, yeah.
I mean, in order to win state titles, you need more than one or two guys to step up and make plays, and Beaver had that today.
Yeah, so your subs of the game or your other players of the game are all those people.
Yes.
And we won't name all of them, but they were all great. The Beavers say goodbye to a lot of seniors. Just to mention some of the seniors. Luke Wolf, he's been great. He was big last week.
Yeah, he was.
In some of his passes, getting the Beavers to this point. Luke Robinson, Baylor Blackburn, Tate Gale, Cutler Matheson, Noah Beaumont, Santiago Mesqua. He was big in this one, too. Tavin Hollingshead, Trin Rubio, Braden Laws on the line, Kelton Langston, we've already mentioned, Caleb Moffitt, Braxton Hogreen, Braden Evans, Jace Hafen. And that's your seniors. Hope I didn't miss any for the Beavers, but they all contributed very well.
Yes, they did. And some of the seniors are in those positions where they get mentioned a lot. Tate Gales, Tavin Hollingshead. Some are in there every play on the line, Braden Evans, whatever it may be. And then there's some that don't get that same time, but they're in there at practice every day. They're pushing those guys ahead of them. They're making sure that the team is ready to go, those starters ready to go.
That's exactly right. That's why you read all of the names, because it takes a team. And as you mentioned, I think this was a team win for the Beavers. It was the line, it was the skills players, it was the wideouts, it was all of it. And I think the Beavers, put together a great team effort against a very good Enterprise team. They win the championship 28-6.
Yeah, Beaver on top.
So, real quick before we break here, let's talk a little bit about what's upcoming, Robert.
Yeah, we've got South Summit and San Juan on the field getting warmed up and ready for their 2A state championship game. South Summit trying to prove that they can that they belong with San Juan on the field here today. San Juan is a juggernaut right now. They
Yes,
look
they
really
are.
good. And then, of course, coming up at 7 o'clock is the 3A state championship. Number 1, Richfield. Number 2, Manti. Richfield won the first meeting 28-7. Kind of shell-shocked Manti in that first half. Manti regrouped in the second half. It was 7-7 in the second half. But that's a fun matchup. You've got great lines, great athletes, great players just all over the field, and great coaching. I'm looking forward to that one as well. So some great games coming up.
Yeah, make sure you turn in and listen and watch. There's some really exciting football coming up. So, the Beavers defeat the Enterprise Wolves 28-6. They go back up on top and win their third championship in 5 years, and to go along with 2 seconds. And for the seniors, again, they've played in 4 straight championship games. Now they have won 2. Their record is 2-2 in their careers. So, anyway, final thoughts, Robert.
Again, just Beaver came out and did what they do best. I felt like they needed to do that in the second half. After a few different things in the first half when they had the lead, they did that. Dominated the game on both sides of the ball. Congratulations, Enterprise. Another great season for them and a quality group of seniors that they are losing. But Beaver comes out on top in this one.
Yeah, and a big thanks again to all of our sponsors who let us show you this, and also to great teams. And a big thanks to Barrett Hilton, Joe Williams, Adam Coombs, Taryn Brew, Cole Wissinger, and Alex Doss. A great team. If you enjoyed this one, it was because we have a great team.
Yep.
And I would put us up against anybody. I watch these games back sometimes, and they're better than what I see on ESPN Plus and everything else. What a great job and what a great thing we have. Big thanks to the sponsors who make it possible to have these. And
That's right.
The Beaver High School Beavers won a state champs, and that'll do it for us here. For Robert Lovell, I'm Scott Langford. Have a great afternoon and enjoy the rest of the day.
You've been listening to exciting high school football action on South Central Utah's sports leaders, Mid-Utah Radio, Centracom Channel 10, and B6 Media. This sports broadcast has been brought to you by sports-minded sponsors throughout Utah. Join us next time for more exciting high school football action on Centracom Channel 10, B6 Media, and Mid-Utah Radio.